is big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hansen, and I am here with the Eternal Optimist, wearing a Jets jersey, David Tuckman. Eternal Optimist.
I'm actually not the optimist. I'm just loyal. I know they suck.
And tonight is Friday, so that means big no-limit hold'em, 10-20 no-limit hold'em, $1,000 minimum buy-in. We have 4 action players at the table that a lot of you will be familiar with. So let's head over to the table and get into it. We're going to go around and introduce the table.
Yeah, let's do that. In seat 1, we've got a familiar name there. There it is, Havel Abbas, known as Midnight. And seat 2, we've got nobody. Now, I think Mo is there, but Ed supposedly is going to be playing over him, so we'll get that right. We can. Seat 3, we've got, I believe, coming in is West Hollywood Henry. And obviously not here yet. Seat 4, we've got Abel. Lovely wife Doris behind him. There's Abel. Seat 5, we've got Jesus Davalos. There he is.
The myth, the legend. And there's his girl behind him, too, from last
Which one?
week.
Oh, the girl. Okay. And seat 6 is Mike.
Corporation Mike.
There's Mike. There we go. Seat 7, we've got Dr. Beebe, Robert Burns. I had a long conversation with Dr. Beebe actually before the webcast today. Seat 8, we've got Amir Gazabi. There he is. And seat 9, we've got Diablo.
200.
Doesn't Diablo usually take seat 1?
He does, but I guess he wanted seat 9 today. I don't know.
Hav was in there.
Changing things up, huh?
So we're going to get into a hand here. It looks like we're heads up Jesus against Corporation Mike. And Jesus is in a pretty good shape here with ace-9.
4.
He's going to bet 400, and Mike believes him, and Jesus takes it down. There you go. And the question is, when will the Patron start flowing?
Yeah, you wonder.
Yeah.
You wonder.
So we'll get some chip counts here pretty soon for everyone.
Look, Jesus has got fans now. He's got a girl to his right. Well, actually a girl to his left, and
Gentleman to his right.
yeah, I guess a Corona spokesman.
Of course, in this game, if you're not familiar with the chips, the brown chips are $10 chips, the whites are $100 chips, and the purples are $25 chips. Most people will stack their chips in 20 chip denominations. So a stack of brown is $200, a stack of white's $2,000. If you see yellows, they're $5 chips, and a big green one is $1,000. We're going to get into a hand here. Looks like seat number 8, or Diablo actually in seat 9 raised it with pocket 8s to 80. He gets called in 3 spots. And actually Amir is in the hand as well. We can't see what he has over there in seat 8. So we've got 5-way action. $400 pot. A 3 flush with an ace.
Yeah, well,
Ace 10 deuce. The only one with the club in his hand there, Dave, is Mike with pocket 4s.
hard for him to know if his 4 clubs is actually good, though.
Now Diablo,
400.
who had raised pre-flop checks, and now Hob is going to bet with ace-jack, top pair.
Why would you want to give me a bevy, Mike?
It looks like he's going to take it down. Wow. We'd like to say sometimes if you even fire into 3 flush flop with an ace out there, Dave, you don't necessarily need anything to do that because it's very difficult for everyone else to call.
Oh, without doubt.
Without at least an ace. Probably an ace with a club. Or maybe the king or the queen.
Or a strong ace, exactly.
Right.
Are you still thinking about that hand?
Rock, paper, scissors, Midwest champion. Wow.
Played it as well.
Rochambeau, right?
Yeah, today is my, I believe it says today is my lucky day. Wow.
I mean, if you caught the spade, you could be really pissy or something.
Button here is in Corporation Mike's hand over there in seat 6, and it's limped around. So it's $100 pot 5 ways. 20 times 5. Queen, Jack, 10, Ramos. Looks like Jesus has got top and bottom.
That's absolutely.
Amir has an open-ended straight draw with a 9.
This much.
And Jesus is going to bet
120.
$120.
Now, Amir's actually, the king is actually not a bad card for him either.
Right.
Normally a 9 is not, you don't really want to go for it. But with the ace in his hand, he's got both sides of it.
Right.
I think you threw in 140.
And we've got a few callers here. Jack 5 calls. Abel. Amir calls. And Dr. B calls with Jack 7. Wow.
Hey, Mike, that's the way to protect that. That's how you do it, man.
The turn is 4.
Oh, man, you're a good man, Jake.
Jesus is still in the lead.
You're a good man when you sleep.
The pot now is $600.
no choice.
Yeah, he's in good shape here.
And he bets
500.
500.
How Mike? You agree?
And what is Dr. BB doing?
Well, he's playing the player here. You know, he thinks that Jesus might just have a draw or might have nothing at all.
And he makes the call?
It looks like he's raising.
Wow, he's going to
To
raise.
1,000.
He makes it 1,000, and unfortunately for BB, Jesus has a hand, and I just don't see him getting away from it. Because Dave, he's short. I mean, he doesn't really have that much more money left, and he makes the call.
And he's all in.
Yeah. So now the pot's about over $2,500, $2,600. The river's a 5.
3.
BB puts in 300,
Ace king.
and Jesus calls. Everyone thinks that BB has a straight.
Jack's a pair. Queen 10, 2 pair.
And everyone's flabbergasted at the table, Dave. Jesus takes down a $3,000 pot.
I hope my conversation with Dr. Beebe didn't just make him lose $1,500.
What did you say to him out there?
I said nothing.
You little
La Roca call you?
The Rock calls.
Well, I was having some spaghetti, I had some salad, and we were sitting down, and we talked for about a half hour.
Is he like that?
And then he comes out and he bluffs. I think maybe he thought his hand was the best
You're in
hand.
real trouble.
With 3 people behind you, too, huh?
Rod raises.
Well, that's the reason he raised.
Yeah.
Get those people behind him out. You know, he probably put somebody, he might have put one of those players behind him on a higher jack or maybe even queen, but can they call a raise from Dr. Beebe?
For sure I'll
Be interesting to see how that plays out tonight.
Wow.
9 maybe.
Now, Abel here in seat 4, he's linked in with ace-queen.
Raise it to
And
80.
Corporation Mike is raised here to 80. I don't know what Abel's thinking, but a lot of people actually might limp re-raise Corporation Mike with the ace-queen because Mike will raise with anything in position.
Oh, yeah,
But Mike's got a real hand.
80, okay, 80.
Diablo's going to call. Let's see what Abel does with the ace-queen. No, he's just going to call.
$80 now. It's the flop, right?
So 240, 3 ways. And it comes out king 5 deuce and Diablo
Look at
spikes
it. The worst
overcard.
hand gets it. Amazing.
He checks. And Mike says he bets the pot, 240. Well, Diablo, we know him. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I'll protect your hand, Mike.
He makes the call. So the pot is now 720 heads up. And Mike's in real bad shape. There's only 1 queen left.
And he does not have the queen of spades.
Yeah. Turn is the 3 of spades.
I sucked out on you.
And look at this. Diablo's going to bet right into the 3rd spade. He bets 400.
Well, he thinks that maybe Mike's got a bigger king. Trying to represent spades.
And Mike mocks the hand.
Well, Mike can't beat anything there once the 3 of spades comes out. It's actually a pretty good card for Mike. Makes it even easier for him to get away from it.
You're getting read me, man.
Well, a lot of people at this table here, Jesus, Corporation Mike, Diablo. If we get Ed into the game, how about a game with Ed, Jesus, Corporation Mike, Diablo, Dimitri? That's just action.
I want to be in that game.
Sick, man. You're hanging around too much with Alan. Hey, Mo.
So we have never seen Abel on the show before, right?
I'm not familiar with him. I mean, if he's been on, he's on a while ago. He's got an interesting LA Dodgers hat on.
Is that a Dodgers hat?
Well, it's an LA hat, and it looks like a baseball player in the back, right? Is that?
Major League Baseball insignia, yeah.
Yes, sir. I see.
Are you in now?
There you
Are
go.
you in one, or?
Don't talk bad about mujeres around you.
It looks like Allen's coming into C3.
Oh, there you go.
Of course, if you want to follow a live thread that's started on the internet, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out, click on forums. World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments, the Live at the Bike official thread, or the official Live the Bike thread for October 21st. Questions, comments, suggestions. You can also email us at live@thebike.com.
5 players.
5-way action limped around.
Alan's here now. Alan, hey, good day, Alan. Hey,
Another 3 flush.
hey, Alan, I'm waiting for you.
I don't think anybody has a heart.
Read me.
Oh, there's one. Mike's got the 9 of hearts.
I'm going to get somebody that can read
And
me.
he's going to bet 60 here. He also has a straight draw. I don't think anyone can call here,
I'll
Dave.
let you win so you...
Can I hammer?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I do.
Hob actually has the best hand here, but a black jack deuce. But Abel calls with ace 4. Is he setting up a play?
He might be.
Look
Well,
at this, the turn's an ace.
Well, he had the best hand before that ace, and now he definitely has the best hand.
And it goes check, check, and the river's a heart.
Man, you guys are lucky I laid down that hand for you.
9 of hearts.
And it just gets checked down. Actually, Abel had ace 5 there, Dave. That makes a little, well, it makes a little more sense, but still kind of tough to call without a heart in your hand, right?
You know, why did he check the turn then? Why would you let that
So
last
he
heart
actually
come out?
made 2 pair on the turn. He made aces up and
Yeah.
he checked it. And Mike checked right behind him. Wow. That's unbelievable.
Maybe he's trying for a check raise in the turn. I'm not sure.
Okay, got a small blind.
But it's one of those things when if you don't have a heart in your hand or you don't have a pretty strong hand, it's a 3 push on the board. Even if you have the best hands, sometimes it's hard to play it real aggressive and real strong.
He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you sucked out on me.
All 52.
And you know who is suspiciously absent from tonight's lineup?
Who?
Barry Woods.
Yeah, well, he is in either Vegas or Vail, depending on what part of his trip he's on.
How long will he be gone for?
I
Okay, here you
believe
go.
2 or 3 weeks.
Raise pot to 120.
Well, Midnight Hob here is going to raise and see why he's got ace queen. Allen calls with a jack 9 offsuit. I think Hob might be in one of the blinds here, Dave. I think he's in the small blind, if I'm correct. Yep, he is in the small blind. So Allen calls in the big blind with jack 9 offsuit against Hob, who's probably next to BB one of the tightest tables on this table. And we've got 3-way action. BB's in there with king 6 suited. Jack 6-4.
Well, Allen's the best hand right now.
It's a $240 pot, I believe.
300.
And Hob bets 300. Well, here's the problem for Allen. I mean, you get yourself involved with this hand. And he calls. He calls. BB's got king 6 with backdoor hearts. He's going to muck. And the pot now is about $850. Oh, the turn's a queen. Gives Hob top pair.
Who do you go for, Mike?
And it looks like he's going to bet
I think the Roca.
Took 1,000 here.
1,000. And again, I mean, Hob could have made this play all the way with ace king. He could have. But
Yeah,
that's the
no, without
problem
a
with
doubt.
jack 9, you know.
You just don't know where you're at. I mean, did this guy have ace jack before?
We can watch it, the Roca.
Does he have pocket 10s? You have no idea. Allen is just...
You almost put Allen. I mean, sometimes it's easier to put certain people on hands, Dave. And when Allen calls there, I just put him on a jack that he doesn't like.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
but he'll often even just smooth call with ace jack. I mean, he rarely shows strength unless he has 2 pair or better.
Hello.
Well, now you know you're good then with ace queen.
Oh, I think for sure, especially with the way Allen's thinking about it.
Anybody wants to remind anything on the third?
At this point, you're begging for a call.
Pot is about 1,800. It's 1,000 to call.
Red Bull.
And you're hoping Allen has ace jack.
You.
Now, if Alan calls, he only has 5 outs.
It's funny if Alan had mucked on the flop and BB had called with the king 6 of hearts, how he would have played it here on the turn, picking up a heart draw with the pair.
Yeah, it would have been interesting.
Well, I hope Alan isn't going to go all seat 6 Harry on us tonight, if anyone knows what I'm talking about.
Seat 6 Harry.
Yeah, seat 6 Harry.
Did Harry take a long time?
Yes, he did on Tuesday night show. And Hobbs shows the queen and he takes it down. One, twice, 3 shoot.
Well, there you go.
1, twice, 3 shoot.
Oh, I got you. We're doing rocks, paper, scissors, folks. I'm winning 1-0.
Thank you very much. Isn't that the right bet for that, Mike? I don't know what you had. It's only 2 different things.
I know why you have.
And the button here is in seat number 1, Hav. And small blind, now Alan has ace queen. And let's see how he plays it.
He just calls.
Yeah, that's perfect.
5 players.
And he has ace queen suited. Both
So we've got
spades.
5-way action.
Trying to watch you, man.
And pretty good flop here. Ace, ace, king. No one else has an ace,
Or a king.
right?
You want to kill the jackpot? Oh, somebody has queen.
But Amir is going to bet here with absolutely nothing. 9-10.
Well, he figures an unraised flop, unraised pot. The chances are that this missed everybody. And obviously he'd be wrong.
I call you.
Let's see how Alan does it. He's just going to call. Slow play the trip aces. Now the thing here, Dave, as the pot gets to about 320, BB's going to muck the 5-6. You don't always raise with ace queen suited out of the blinds and no limit because it's tough to play out of position.
Right.
But with this lineup, don't you almost raise for value? Because your hand's just going to be so much better than
Especially
everyone
ace queen
else's.
suited.
And it goes checked on the turn. The river's a 9.
Well, yeah, Amir now has 3 pair.
Right. Amir made a pair on the turn, and the 9 is inconsequential.
Yeah,
to
the
his
9
hand.
doesn't help him at all. Actually, the 10 didn't help me.
So look how Alan played that. Check, call the flop. Check, check on the turn. Bet, fold on the river.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much screamed, I have an ace.
Yeah. But, it's something that we don't mention a lot. I mean, when you've got specifically this type of lineup, I think with good holdings, because your holdings are just, higher in value, then you might raise for value with some hands that you might not at other tables.
Yeah, there's also some value to the fact that you can. I mean, let me give you an example. Let's say Hav in seat 1 limped in, and then he calls your $100 raise. Well, you can probably eliminate certain hands from his holdings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because Hav's not going to call a $100 raise with just any 2 cards.
Right.
Now, Jesus or Diablo might, but
Now, Corporation Mike is just going to open this one up for a straddle, which means it's 20-40 this hand, or it's 40 to go. 40 to call.
You were good the whole way. It didn't matter.
Yeah, the best in the world. You know what I got drawn dead, look at it.
Looks like some of the people on the thread are happy about this lineup tonight, Dave. It's probably one of the best lineups we've ever had.
yeah, it should be. Well, Friday nights have been, action night. Like I say, every Friday night. It's the game I look forward to all week.
So 4 ways times 40, $160 pot, ace 3-3 here. Doesn't look like anyone has anything.
No, Abel still has the best hand with King High.
Gets checked around. Turn is a 9, gives Diablo the best. Actually, Diablo has queen 8, not queen 9.
140.
And,
So Abel still has the best hand.
yep, Corporation Mike is going to bet now. With absolutely nothing.
Well, there's $160 in there. People dismiss the fact that it's not like, it's not like there's no money in the pot. It's not like a $4 pot. It's $160. I mean, that's a good hour.
And it looks like Corporation Mike is going to take it down.
Well, Jesus can't call him with 6 high.
Right.
Actually, Jesus is the only one that he wants him to call.
Right. And Mike will make that move sometimes if he doesn't think that anyone has anything, Dave. Steal those small pots.
Well, Doyle Brunson, he said it best in Super System 1. He goes, there are an awful lot of flops that miss everybody. He goes, Because it kind of it's like money that nobody wants. He's like, well, I'll take those. And by winning those, by stealing those pots that nobody else wants, it gives him the money where he can take some chances with draws later on.
There's a lovely lady sitting behind a mirror. Seat 8.
Yeah.
Was that the 90s?
Kind of looks like a princess.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't she? Like the gold rim around her chest?
When they come out of the therapy,
Didn't MJ start that whole
I'm glad you've changed your tune from a couple weeks ago.
I know I know I offended you.
sorry, Mike, but I
Ace King has brought this one in for 120 here in seat 8.
went over there to bring
And Abel calls with Jack 9. And is BB going to come in with a weak ace? I think the action's on him.
It's nothing's really different from Dr. Beebe. Dr. Beebe, his pre-flop calling has always been somewhat suspect.
Somewhat speculative. Yeah.
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 And then it's just this after flop play that seems to be a little, okay, wow.
So 240 in here, heads up. 10-6-3, couple clubs.
I just see that I'm learning.
Amir makes a little continuation bet in here for 200.
Well, that's not a scary flop. I mean, I like it.
And Abel calls with the Jack 9. The turn is a 4.
Mike knows that you don't.
Well, if Amir checks this and Abel throws in a bet, Abel can take this pot away.
And that's exactly what's happened. A check and a bet. And there you go.
There you go. Now, if Abel had made that play with the ace-5,
And he shows the Jack 9. He shows it.
if Abel had made that play on Mike before, when Mike was bluffing with only the 9 of hearts, made the flush draw,
Right.
he would have taken it away. Maybe Abel didn't. He probably didn't think he needed to before because he had 2 pair.
Así se hacen. Bien hecho.
So, of course, here, first post that I'm going to read here of the night, Chester on 2+2 says, it's an all-star lineup tonight. It kind of reminds me of the poker game in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Great movie.
Yeah.
What a great movie.
The button here is in seat 5.
La Roca's partner.
Did you like Jack Nicholson in that movie?
I think the whole movie is just
Yeah.
genius. I mean,
Okay, 3 players left.
Got limped around here.
although my favorite character, I have to say, is the American Indian.
Yeah. King Deuce 8. BB's got a top pair, and it gets checked to Jesus, and he bets from the button. And
70.
$70 bet, BB calls, top pair. Pot's now about 180. Or excuse me, 200. Turns a jack.
$1.25.
BB checks. And Jesus bets 125 here. BB calls. So about 450 in there now. Jesus needs an ace here. And the river's an ace. Is it going to be one of these types of nights?
You called it.
And he's going to bet again.
I have no idea.
He bets 400.
Now, most people might shut down there going, oh, well, now I don't need to bet. I got there.
And BB makes the call. And he's going to show that he gets rivered. He gets rivered.
Oh,
And that's a $1,200 pot right there going to Jesus.
man. I'm sorry, Dr. Beebe. I don't know what I said to you. I breathed bad luck on him, though. Terrible.
Well, I know what you say. Most people will shut down there, but
No, I like the bet. I
if you
actually like
don't think that BB has 2 pair and you think he has a weak king like he played it, why not bet?
it. No, why not? Exactly.
Yeah.
We see it all too often that people will bluff, and then check when they get there.
No more homosexual thing. No.
Time. Action's here. Oh, I just see. No problem. I know. I understand. It's okay. My bad. That's why I just want to stop.
Button is in Corporation Mike's hands here.
This pot has been raised.
He's got pocket 9s, and he's going to raise.
Right behind me.
He makes it 100 to go.
Yeah.
And Amir is going to call here with Queen 10 offsuit from the big blind.
Let me see.
Excuse me, Queen 6 offsuit. BB has called with Queen 10 offsuit from the small blind.
Wow. How much is the raise for?
100.
A hundy, huh?
Lucky guard.
And Abel comes in and calls. Well, Abel seems to be a pretty loose player from what we've seen him from so far, Dave.
Oh, pre-flop, sure.
4-way action. $400 pot.
Good man. Yes, thank you.
Ace 6 deuce.
Tomorrow night is the
Mike
night.
still has the best hand here.
Yeah.
Make up for my money.
And he's not going to bet it, Dave. He doesn't bet. Wow. The turn's a deuce. Third diamond.
Now, Amir has a pair with a queen of diamonds.
And now Mike's going to bet. He bets 400. His hand is good right now.
Now, Mike's... I'm going to say, I don't like the play by Mike here. He kind of played it like he had a pair. Didn't he? I mean...
Well, you put him on, maybe an overpair to the 6. Or with a high diamond here. And he's just going to take it down.
I'm just not sure why Mike wouldn't do the continuation bet there.
Right. I guess the ace is the ultimate scare card, especially against this field.
Right, but I mean, the thing that's interesting is Mike will raise with 4-5,
Right.
7-3, any two cards pretty much on the button. And when it gets checked to him, he almost always bets. Well, now he had a real hand. I mean, if you pick up on the play that, he's got a real hand, he doesn't need to bet.
Right.
And when he doesn't have a real hand, he has to bet. If you pick up on that, well, then you can probably snap him off a couple times.
Abel limps in here again. Queen 10 of hearts.
Can you get this guy out of the gate on time?
Cart's been raised to 70.
And here we go with Jesus. 10-3 suited.
It's suited.
Makes it 70 to go.
That's definitely a $70 hand, don't you think?
And Diablo's going to call with Queen 6.
Now, raising, obviously, you're certainly not going to be able to figure out what Diablo has or Jesus.
Right.
No, man, no.
So Jesus is the raiser. If he bets here, he might take it down.
Well, Abel's got a flush draw, though.
Yeah, he does. With overcards.
Good man, get your...
And actually gets checked around. The turn is a 5. And Abel checks once again. And it gets checked around. And the river's an ace.
Well, his queen high is best. Queen 10 is best.
But let's see if Jesus bets with the ace now. No one can call now, though, right?
I don't think so.
He uses the ace as a scare card. Abel showed no strength throughout the hand with overcards and a flush draw, and he's let Jesus take it away from him.
Wow.
And he shows it.
Not me.
Very interesting, I say.
Yes, sir. I mean, if you're Abel, how do you check there on the turn? Do you think Jesus is slow playing a monster? We are privy to know that probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he figured, let me get my free draw. Maybe I can get there. I mean, it is a way to play it. When you have a big draw like that, you can kind of take the free card and hope you get there. And that's Abel with the live straddle. Obviously, a live straddle is a second big blind,
That's
and
right.
it is twice the amount of the original big blind. And for that, you get to act last on the first round.
Check on the dark.
6 players.
We've got 6-way action here, and it's been limped around. King 9-3, couple clubs.
And this has missed everybody again. Oh, Alan's got a pair of 9s.
He checked first.
And he's in the big blind. You got a free ride.
Go on, call it.
Turn is a 6.
Alan still has the best hands.
I like it, but I'm checking.
Do you bet out here with Deuce 9? Is it that strong?
50.
Well, he is. He bets 50. And Abel calls with a gut shot to the 5 with a couple clubs out there, but he has a couple of spades.
Well, I mean, I think you could bet that even if you had no pair. Try to steal it.
But
If you have a
Abel
pair, you
called,
certainly
though. Alan bet and Abel called with the Deuce.
Well, so did Mike.
And so did Jesus. And the river is a 7.
Want him out, Mike? Want him out?
And Mike has made a straight. He's made his gut shot at the end, but it is a third club.
See, now the problem with going for your straight here is
2/3.
there's no real implied odds because nobody's going to pay you off big here, I don't think.
Right. Well, he bets 230 here.
Mike, you want to steal the
Yeah, what do I know?
And Alan, is he gonna? And he gets a call from Alan.
Wow.
With Deuce 9. Well, Mike could make that move with a scary club that comes out there.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, though, when I bet my 9 deuce there on the turn and I get called in 4 spots,
Yeah.
you can't like your hand anymore.
No, definitely not.
Bravo, Pelon.
Well, Dave, normally Friday nights are bluff nights, but we're going to hold off on that again this week because, again, we have some pretty big prizes coming up for the next bluff.
Yeah.
So we don't want to give out something lame.
I've heard all these guys, all they want is a date with you, Bart.
Ah,
Live straddle here.
Okay. She too wants a date with you.
send her back here. She drinking a Midori Sour over there?
Finish our reading very slow.
Check, slow read.
Pocket Kings here for seat 8.
That's a big pair.
And Jesus has straddled. And Amir, he just calls from the cutoff in a straddled pot with Pocket Kings. That's unbelievable. He just calls. And here we go.
He's playing it tricky.
4-way action. Well, 3, 4, 8. Jesus has an open-ended straight draw. And he's going to bet.
You sick, Mike.
He bet 60. I mean, how do you just call in a straddle pot from the cutoff with kings? BB calls with Queen Jack? Are we in Bizarro World here?
300.
We got a $300 raise here by Amir, and Jesus quickly calls.
And I'm assuming Dr. BB is throwing his
He
hand
is
away
out of
here.
there.
It's okay.
Yeah. So we got about a $730 pot here. The turn's a 7. There's the straight for Jesus. Can Amir get away from the unraised overpair?
Not against Jesus, he can't.
He bets 310, and Amir is all in. And Jesus calls, and Amir is drawing dead. The river's an ace. I mean, and the other reason, too, there, Dave, is Amir was short on the hand.
Yeah,
He was short with the kings.
Hey, you know what? You limped in the cutoff seat with kings. You kind of deserve that, don't you?
Unbelievable. I mean, and especially in a straddled pot where there's more dead money with a couple limpers in front of you, you want to loosen your raising standards up.
I mean, even if you want to play it tricky in a game like this where people are calling $70, $80, $90 raises, raise it
nothing.
up. Get more money in the pot at least
Yeah.
with your kings.
Corporation Mike is going to straddle here. And he's got pocket sixes, and I think this one's going to get jacked up a bit here out of the straddle
Been
spot.
raised 200.
And it is. He makes it 200 to go.
200 with pocket sixes.
And Abel calls him in a second with King 4 offsuit from small blind.
Well, he's got an overcard.
Jesus is in there with 6-7.
Well, he's got a straight draw.
Not a good flop for pocket sixes. Let's see if Mike... No, and there you go. Mike checks again here. Does not bet. Turns an ace.
You got to remember, if the flop is scary for you, it might be scary for your opponents also.
And the river's a 5, and Jesus has made the straight. And he checked it. He checked the straight.
Six is a pair. One
Does he know he has it in seat 5?
pair of sixes.
I guess the answer is no.
7, 8, 9.
Well, now, Jesus has done this before. We saw this last night, actually.
Yeah.
Where Jesus will check raise the nuts. And in this case, it wasn't the absolute nuts, but he will check raise the nuts, or a very strong hand, hoping to get a big check raise in there.
Dave, I got to go out on a limb and say, though, I know we saw that last night, but from the way that we just saw Jesus look at the cards, I don't think he had the straight.
You don't think he knew he had this?
No. I mean, a 5 of diamonds comes, Mike's checked it all the way through, and now you're expecting a bet there at the end. Well, maybe for Mike.
All right, Capron, I let you get there, man. My fault. Should have bet the flop.
And Mike says it best there. Mike says, I let you get there. I should have bet the flop.
All right, I lost my money. You got lucky. How'd you say lucky? Suerte.
Suertudo.
Very suertudo. No.
Suertudo, wait.
So the button here is, what about Abel making a $200 call there with King 4 in the small blind?
4 players.
And it's limped around here.
Yeah. Not much to say about it, is there? I mean, obviously, if you're trying to play winning poker, it's obviously not a winning play. But we already know a lot of these guys here are here just to have a good time and just to gamble.
Corporation Mike has bet 60 here. And Allen calls with bottom pair. Abel calls with no draw.
3 of us in this.
King Jack, one overcard. And the turn's a jack. Well, Mike has a straight draw now. Mike bets again.
240.
He bets 240. Abel calls out of turn quickly. Pot is now about $650. And let's see the river. The river's a 7.
No
And it
help.
gets checked down. And let's see how Mike... I mean, look at... Now everyone gets to see King Jack. And look at Mike. He called me on the flop with King Jack.
Yeah, he kind of rolled his eyes there, like, what was Colin with there? No draw, and only one overcard to the board.
I have to say I've never seen the Dodgers wear that type of baseball cap on the field before.
No, I have to agree with you there. Never, ever. Now, it's interesting. A long time ago, now let's get to the chip count.
Yeah.
I'll get back to this.
So I guess BB's covering the
Last
table
straddle
here.
here.
Yeah, now, obviously he's down for the night. We saw him lose about $1,500 pot to Jesus.
Right. I think he's got about 5,000 now. And Diablo got about 4,700. Jesus, I think he's gone up a little bit since then. I think Jesus might have over 4,000 now. Dave, he's got about maybe even 5,000. So we'll get that chip count updated.
Now, I was going to say was about, when we first started the show, this Friday night show, we used to be highly critical of a lot of these players. And I've gotten to the point where it's kind of just, it's pointless to criticize somebody's play. A lot of these guys are here to have a good time, to gamble up, and they don't really care what proper poker is or whatever. They just go, whatever. I'm here to have a good time.
Now, I believe this pot was straddled, and Abel did not raise with pocket nines on the cutoff. And he has an overpair to the board, but it's limped around. So I mean, it's a limped pot pre-flop. So let's see.
And nobody has well, Dr. BB's got top pair.
250.
And Abel bets 250, which is about the size of the pot, 40 times 6. Mike's got bottom pair or second pair there with an overcard. He makes the call. BB gets out. And I think Mike might still be fuming about the last hand beat, Dave. So let's see how this one plays out.
Well, especially since it was Abel.
Oh, the turn's a deuce.
Oh, that's a real good card for him.
5.
And he bets 500. And Mike calls. The pot's now $1,600 going to the river.
And he needs a queen or a 3.
And the river's a 10. And this is I would bet this if I was Abel again, and he does.
7.
He bets 700.
Nice value bet there.
Because you think Mike might have a 6 or a 3 here.
Well, you wouldn't put him on a 3, I don't think, but you definitely could put him on a 6. And if you put him on a flush draw, I mean, the only fear thing is if he had a flush draw
Right,
and he picks up a 10 there, but hey.
It's a $700 bet. Pot is now $2,300. $700 for Mike to
I thought you were
call.
on a flush draw, man.
Well, there you go. And that's the reason to bet it there. Mike
And he makes the call.
Mike thought he was on a flush draw.
And Abel takes down a $3,000 pot.
I mean, how do you lose $1,500 with queen 3? I mean, that takes talent. Man. Now, obviously, we see some great poker on the show as well on Friday nights.
Right.
A lot of professionals come into the game because the game is so much action and so live. And we see some really great plays and great moves. But to sit here and be critical of a lot of these players playing, it's almost silly.
Right.
Give me 11 back. I don't think I might get.
And Mike has the button. Alan's going to limp in there with Jack 10. And looks like Abel's playing any 2 here, Dave. See that over there in seat 4? Deuce 9 offsuit.
5 player.
92.
Yeah, wait.
The old Ted Forrest limit hand.
Yeah, double down.
Yep.
Well, he's got best pan now. Doesn't he? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, 984.
Now, a couple of open-ended straight draws out here. Amir's at the bottom end of the open-ended straight draw. Alan's got the top part of it.
Well, Amir bets 100. And Alan calls with the open end. And Abel calls. And Corporation Mike calls with second pair.
And so does Jesus.
Wow.
With bottom pair. And this is now a...
Well, if it was limped around, it's
this is now a
$500.
$600 pot.
Yeah, $620. Turn is a 4.
Wow, and Jesus has just made trip fours.
I wish.
So he's in the driver's seat there with ace 4 in seat 5. Action's on him. $620 pot.
And he's going to bet it right out. He doesn't want to give anybody a free draw.
250.
He bets $250 into a $600 pot. Kind of small there, Dave. Couple diamonds, couple hearts, straight draws out there with the 8-9. I would think he might want to push a little harder. Well, Amir makes the call. It's now an $1,100 pot. And both players call here 3 and 4.
So we now have, what, an $1,800
Yeah,
pot?
here we go to the river.
Wow.
And the river's a 5.
Wow. Amir's just gotten
And
there.
Amir makes it. And he bets.
6.
He bets 600 into an $1,800 pot.
Let's go later.
And is Abel finally going to lay this one down?
Got your hand.
Well, hey, he's got 9. He's got, I mean, the deuce kicker is, his deuce actually does not play. He's got
Now-
9s and 4s with an 8.
Now, I don't know how much money Amir has left. If Jesus, because we've seen Jesus actually make a raise here and sometimes with trip 4s.
You want to block?
Yep, and he makes the raise, Dave. He makes it up to 2,000. And Amir quickly moves the rest of his money all in, which is probably another, I would say, maybe 11 or 1,200 total. And he takes it down. Dave, I mean, we're talking about a $4,000 pot now with the straight. Jesus raised him up with trips. And this is sometimes when people see live at the bike. Actually, I think this might have happened when Shirley was in here last Wednesday when Jesus played on the show. You've got to bet your made hands for value against Jesus, especially when you might suspect that he could have something like trips.
Right. Without a doubt.
You know, one time I think we saw Bruce Parker, the gentleman from Callaway Golf last week, just call with the made straight against Jesus when Jesus led into him on the river with trips.
Well, last night we also saw Hob do that. Hob had made a full house.
Right.
And Jesus raised him, and he kind of got scared, and he goes, okay, I'll just call. But it's Jesus, and you got to...
Yep.
He might just do that with 2 pair or trips, and you've got to push it a little harder than that. And that's the one big weakness in Jesus' game. He doesn't play the player. Obviously, Amir showing strength means a lot. Okay. Secondly, he doesn't look at the draws. I mean, there are a lot of draws out there. You're looking at that flop and going, okay, what might my opponents have? And I don't think he goes that far, obviously.
I think that might have been upwards of a $4,500 to a $5,000 pot.
Yeah, one of the biggest pots Amir has ever taken down.
Really?
Well, at least on our show.
Raise, make it 120 total.
I don't follow him around.
We got a raise here by Jesus. Jack 8, steaming a little bit. Amir calls him with ace 9 suited. 120. And BB's in there with 7-9 of hearts.
I'm not sure yet.
BB hits top pair, but Amir, he's missed everything. I thought he had top pair for a second. Jesus bets.
Letting 100.
And all three players are in there. The other 2 call. It was a $100 bet. The turn's a 9, and look at this. BB's made 2 pair, and Amir has ace 9. And Jesus, he's got a straight draw. He bets 220. And BB's going to raise.
Nice play here by BB.
He makes it 1,200 to go. And now if you're Amir, I mean ace 9 against BB's raise there.
Yeah, there's too many draws out there. Anybody who has an 8 or a 5 is open-ended.
Jesus bets, and BB makes it 1,000 more to go.
And Jesus, I don't know. Well, I'm assuming Amir should get away from this, especially with Dr. BB making this play. But Jesus just lost a big pot, so he might call.
Well, the pot now is about $2,300, and I believe it's 1,000 to call. And I think Amir is going to wisely get away from it.
You just got to pick your spots.
And Jesus mucks.
I mean, we saw Dr. BB played a little aggressive with like second pair against Jesus, which he could be doing again.
Right.
But do you really want to take that chance? You know, generally, when Dr. BB's putting money in the pot, he's got it.
Except for that bizarre first hand of the night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I mean, I think that was like his once every 3 month bluff. Bluff.
And again, Dave, I know you weren't in here on this past Wednesday, but God, just a tight, passive display from seat 7.
From Dr. BB.
Yeah.
That's what he was talking to me about, and he defended his play. And
Did he defend the ones when he had pocket queens and the flop
Yeah.
came Jack, Jack 5?
he said he trusts his instincts, and his instincts said the guy had Jack or an overpair. That's what he thought the guy had. And he said, it's my money. I got to put the money. I got to put $10,000 in the pot. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to commit all my money to it. And he said he didn't want to go to war with it.
Well, Jesus straddled here, and he's raising out of the straddle spot to 100, and he's got 2 callers. BB with queen 9, and Abel with 6-7.
Now, clearly, that's what Amir was trying to do with his kings earlier. He was trying to obviously limp re-raise. Can't always count on that, especially when you're in the cutoff seat.
Got checked around the turns at 10. And the river's an 8, and BB's made the nut straight. And Jesus has a pair. But it is a 3rd diamond, and Jesus bets. He bets 200. Like here, I think you got to put a little raise in, right? Oh, good, Dr. BB.
Yeah, I mean, you can put a nice little, make it 400, make it 500.
800 total.
He makes it 800 total.
Wow.
And Jesus does not pay him off. Now, the thing about Amir there with the pocket king's hand there, I don't remember who was in the straddle spot, Dave.
It was Abel.
I mean, it was Abel. Have we seen Abel do any pre-flop racing tonight?
Right.
I mean, you've got to play the player that's in the straddle if you want to pull the limp re-raise.
But even if
You've got Abel in the straddle spot and Allen in the big blind.
And even if it's
You know?
Mike in the straddle spot, if I'm in the cutoff seat, I can't count on Mike doing that every
Right.
time. Now, there are times where Jesus gets in the spot of, raising every single pot. And in that case, you can play him and take advantage of it. Well, Mike is straddled again, so let's see what happens here.
He's picked up 8-9 offsuit in the straddle spot. And Abel? I think Abel raised.
110.
110, he's got ace-5. And he was in the small blind there, Dave. He's not in position.
Well, straddled pot, I think he was trying to pick up the lippers, but it didn't work.
BB's got 6-10 of hearts. He's not going to play. But Diablo's in there with ace-7. And we've got quickly about a $450 pot going to the flop.
And nobody's got even a decent hand.
Jack, deuce, 9. Mike has a pair. Mike did not bet, and it got checked around.
7.
Turns a queen,
Go ahead.
and it's going to get checked around again.
Why isn't Mike betting?
I don't know, and the river's a 10. Now it's 4 cards to a straight.
Well, now Jesus got a straight.
Yep, he's got the king high straight.
I don't understand what Mike's doing today.
Betting 300.
And Jesus bets 300.
Mike-
I could have sworn Mike was at least going to, I mean, maybe he was going to bet the turn, but then another overcard fell.
And now he's going to call.
And he's going to pay him off. He pays him off
Well,
with
he's
a
got the
9.
bottom end of the straight.
Yeah, he's got the bottom end with the 8 high straight.
Yeah, he's got the ass end there.
Yeah. Or the queen high straight. He's got the queen high straight with the 8, and Jesus has got the king high straight.
And Mike has nobody to blame except himself there.
I'm pissed, yeah. Not at you, but I'm pissed.
Yeah, bet, Mike, come on.
I'm pissed.
I don't understand what he's doing. He's playing like a little girl today.
You happy? Drop a jack?
Thank you.
That's for a lady.
Are you saying that Mike needs to get some cojones?
I mean, Mike obviously, he obviously has them.
Yes, he does.
It's not like he's worried about the money. He's here to have a
Right.
good time and he's here to gamble. But aggressive play has never been Mike's problem.
Right.
You know, passive play. I mean, have you ever said, Mike's playing awful passive today? I mean,
No.
you can go back 10 months of Live at the Bike and
Right.
you've never heard him say that.
Right.
You know, he's got second pair, he checks it. He checks it on the turn. And then he pays on the river. I mean, that's just tight passive play. It's just really a bad play.
You know, that lovely girl that we just shot is actually our floor host's niece. Donna's niece.
Really?
Very
Make it
lovely
90
girl.
total.
Wow.
Jeez.
Sexy, sexy.
And we got a raise here
Henry, what's up?
by
Henry?
Abel on the button. Ace-7 of clubs.
The private number?
He made it 90 to go. Amir's going to call with ace-10 of diamonds. And Hav, he has ace-jack.
Last week.
So,
He hasn't been, he has the table dominated here.
well, chances are it's not going to hit anyone. The flop. Here we go. $270 pot. King 7-4.
There you go. Abel gets a pair of sevens.
Let's see if he bets it, Dave. We haven't seen him in this spot before. Raise pre-flop. And then a follow-through, but he does.
Betting 240.
He bets 240, little under the size of the pot. And Hav mucks it. And Dave, we're getting word that West Hollywood Henry has joined the game in seat 2.
Weho Henry, huh?
There he is.
I'll wait for my blind. You wait for your blind guy. I'll look it up later.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I got the low one.
There he is.
About A7.
Weho Henry.
Look at him with the, he's got the Hollywood scruff.
He's got the cigarette.
Glasses.
Sammy Farha cigarette.
He thinks he's so cool. He does. He thinks he's so cool.
Well, you don't think he's cool?
He thinks he's so cool.
And it's like, I don't want to base my play on that.
Henry's a good guy.
It doesn't make any sense to base your play and sit there
It doesn't make any sense when you come.
when I come. All right. It doesn't make any sense. You haven't given me a
We got 5-way action limped around.
You haven't tried me or not?
True.
Ace 10-3.
I have to trap you to get
BB's got the ace.
Betting 70.
You're sick.
And Corporation Mike is going to bet here.
With
With the flush draw.
I mean, that's what I mean. If Mike would bet all his draws, all his pairs, all his bluffs the same,
Look at this. BB mucks the weak ace.
that's when Mike's effective.
And Hav is going to call with second pair there.
There you go.
Go get me, man.
And Jesus has got a wheel draw. He makes the call. Wow.
I'm going to double up in less than 10 minutes.
Let's go only blind.
Pot's now about $300. The turn is a 6.
The only way to get you is only blind.
And Mike bets again. 210, and it looks. I don't think Hav's going anywhere. He's picked up a flush draw now in seat 1. $210 bet.
I think House considering raising this up.
Find out if Mike has the ace.
Exactly.
Blind.
Find out if Mike has anything.
That's the only way I got out.
Well, raising is usually better than calling. He's got a
Aggressive play is almost always rewarded.
$210 bet.
That was a good one.
And he's just going to call, Dave. He's just going to
I
call.
have, not from
And Jesus is out of there.
And Mike's going to need a king that's not a club or a heart.
It's about a $700 pot now to the river. The river's a 6. And Mike's going to take one more shot at it.
I don't think that's going to be enough to get him off the hand.
He bets $440 into a $700 pot, so it's an $1,150 pot, approximately. $440 to call.
I mean, it's just interesting. Mike is betting when he doesn't need. He's betting when he probably shouldn't bet, and he's not betting when he should bet tonight. It's just not his night so far.
Well, you don't think he needs to bet this, though, doesn't he?
Clearly, he needs
Yeah.
to bet it, but I don't know if he's bet enough. I don't think Hav is going anywhere. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Well, Hav might have backed himself into a corner by playing it passively there on the turn. Again, it's a $440, and it makes the pot over $1,100. $440 to call.
Ace rag good?
Mike says, is ace rag good?
Let's get a shot of Mike here, actually.
Yeah, there we
Let's
go.
take a look at the bluffer. Here we go.
And I think he said he called. He made the call. He makes the call. And Mike turns over king high, and Hav has him. And wow, what a call.
Yeah, no, it was a good call. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how good a call it was. I think it's just he's playing Mike, and he's like going, well. And you can say him by when he doesn't raise the turn, he's almost forced himself to make that call on the river because he's inducing that bluff.
Right.
If he raises on the turn and the guy comes back at him, well, then he can safely throw away his Jack 10 of clubs.
And here we go with another chip count. So Dr. BB, he's up about $1,000?
Yeah.
Galbo, we haven't really heard much from him. Now Hav just won that pot, so he's probably, I want to say,
About 5,000 now?
yeah, probably around 5,000 now. And Jesus down, maybe about 1,300 from our last chip count.
Yeah, well, he doubled up a mirror.
Raise, make it 100 total.
And Jesus is going to raise. He's made it 100 to go. He's got pocket 8s. My question to you is, if Hob raises there and Mike calls, and the club doesn't come, does he just check it down behind Mike on the river? And hope he doesn't have an ace?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how much you raise, obviously. But
Right.
if Mike calls you, you got to either put him on a draw or an ace. And, well, it depends. I mean, you got to obviously figure out, is it worth it to bet $1,500 into the pot? I mean,
Right.
can I get him off his ace if he has an ace?
Now, $500 pot here. Jesus was the pre-flop raiser, $100, and he has the best hand.
Betting 400.
And look at this. Abel bets here as a bluff, and Jesus mucks it immediately.
Wow.
He mucks
Now,
it immediately.
I love the play by Amir here. If later on, when he has trip queens, he bets it also.
Abel.
Abel.
Yeah, yeah. And he takes it away there on a stone cold bluff.
Stone cold bluff. And he shows a 7. And he shows the ace also.
Ace 8, yeah.
Stone cold bluff there.
Small blind.
And again, what we call the Jesus superfan has been suspiciously absent from our emails, Dave.
I hope she's okay.
Yeah.
Small blind.
Dr. Beebe's got the button. Button is in seat 7. Small blind is Amir. That's $10. Big blind is Diablo. That's $20. And once again, we are live at the bike. Playing No Limit Hold'em.
Amir has picked up pocket 8s in the small blind. Does not raise. And we've got 4-way action. Queen, 9, deuce, couple diamonds.
2 pair for Diablo.
Top and bottom, and he bets.
Betting 80.
Yeah, that was 5 for 7. Burbank.
Again, Abel's really playing an interesting, hand selection. He's going to make the call with second pair there, Dave. 9-5, and he's in big trouble. So we're heads up here. Got a $260 pot. Turn to 10.
Yeah, it was ugly. But I didn't. I went to
Diablo bets again.
Betting 150.
150.
the 101 to the 10. 10 all the way back. Still a
And Abel's out of there. And
Take it down.
Diablo.
I mean, look at these hands. Every hand. Queen, deuce, 9-5.
We haven't seen a premium hand yet.
King, 6.
Thank you.
scary.
I mean, it's amazing. Some people actually say, they go, wow, the games at the $300 to $500 level, or sometimes even the $200 level, are harder than these games.
I almost let that
But the big challenge really is getting comfortable at this level,
Right.
Are you willing to sit down with $4,000 or $5,000 and make a tough call for $3,000 or $4,000?
So, Dave, am I coming over tomorrow night? I'll bring the beer, watch a little World Poker Tour.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Your
Little popcorn.
daily plug.
Little popcorn.
Why would you watch the World Poker Tour for tomorrow?
I don't know.
What's tomorrow?
Just a new
ladies
episode.
event. Oh, is that the one you emceed?
That's like
Right?
You said it, not me.
Okay. Shameless plug.
Ace 10-4 here on the flop. It was libbed around.
What the hell you eating, mate? 6.
And it got checked around on the flop. Turn is a 5.
Betting 120.
And Hob is going to bet here with second pair.
I'll give you action one time, bro.
Looks like he has the best hand.
I like when you take
Jesus says, I'll give you action, and he calls with the 5.
Put another 5.
6.
Oh, Jesus asked for another 5.
The river's a deuce. It brings a straight there to the board. Anyone with a 3.
240.
Betting 240.
But look at this. Hob is going to make a value bet here. He bets
Yeah.
240. And Jesus does not call. Now, the only thing here is that if you think that Jesus called with a 5 there on the turn, do you think if you bet he's going to call with a 5 on the river?
He might.
Yeah?
I mean, like you said, you really want to value bet against Jesus because
Yeah.
he might pay you off.
That was mine, man.
I think actually Jesus told me that he's going to lay off of the Patron tonight. That's why we haven't seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think he was a little disappointed with himself. I think about a week ago when he turned 1,000 to 13,000 and then
Right.
lost that plus another 10K.
Right.
And I think he was disappointed in himself. for getting so inebriated and losing so much money.
I had the best hand. What do you want me to do? Hey, Squeeze, clear on the board.
Not only you, Mike. So you're the only one that can
All right.
Bunch of limpers,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead. 8 player.
Wow, 8 players. $160 pot to the flop.
It's like a 1-2 limit game. And it looks like Dr. BB's hit a set of threes. Jack 3-5.
Go ahead.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Now, does anybody have a jack?
Now, you know how BB
Betting 100.
loves to slow play. But, well, someone else is going to do the betting for him. But I was going to say, I mean, when people are calling with bottom pair, why not value better, value raise? And
Well,
he
he
makes it
raises up,
300.
yeah.
Yep.
Come on, Luca.
No one had a top pair there. Jesus has middle pair. And if he makes his call and he spikes a 6 or a 5, he makes the call, he's going to get in big trouble. Well, the turn is an ace. It's a heart. Pot's about, what, $760? And BB bets 500 and he takes it down.
Spikes his tray, huh?
So there you go. If you take a look at Dr. BB's stack over there, the chips on the bottom of his white stack are
Yeah.
$1,000 chips.
Those little green guys.
There we go. Yeah. He's got 5 of them. And then he's probably has, what, another 2,000 in white, so 7,000 plus for
Hey,
him.
his white stack is dirty, too. See a dirty stack in there. When I say a dirty stack, obviously, if anybody wants to know, is if you have a whole stack of whites, and then there is a foreign chip that is in the middle of it. It's called a dirty stack.
And that foreign chip is a $1 chip.
Right, exactly.
That's a very dirty stack. Live straddle here.
Button is in seat 1.
By
Live straddle
Abel.
is in seat 4.
Corporation Mike limps in with pocket 3s. BB's in there with a weak ace. Amir's in there with a weak ace. Jack 9 of clubs for Diablo. We haven't seen West Hollywood Henry play. He seems like he's flirting with the girl.
6
Really?
player.
Surprising.
Oh, he's Mr. Cool.
Oh,
Well, 3 flush with an ace. No one has a heart.
no. BB's got the ace, though.
And so does Amir.
Oh, there you go.
BB bets.
Betting 70.
Now, the pot pre-flop is 240, so he bets 70 into a $240
Now,
pot.
Amir's got a smooth call this with ace 7.
70 into 240. Amir just calls.
Heads up.
Pot is now 380. The turn is a heart. And let's see if BB bets again. Looks like he is.
Betting 600.
He bets 600.
9 of hearts.
Well, oftentimes when somebody calls me, when I have an ace, like that kind of flop, I have ace 8, and somebody calls my bet on the flop, I'm either going, okay, this guy either has an ace or he has a heart. And that's what Dr. B was probably thinking there. He goes, okay, well, let's see what he has.
Well, what if he smooth calls you again there in the turn? You just have to shut down.
Yeah, you just got to go, wow, well, I'm probably beat then.
Yeah.
You know, because can the guy really call without a heart? And that pot probably would have been chopped up.
Yep. Why does Jesus always sit in seat 5?
I can't answer that.
Huh?
I don't know.
Button is over here in seat 2. Ace King there for Hav in the cutoff, and he's going to raise.
So what are we going to be for Halloween?
I don't know yet.
Laverne and Shirley?
Wait, make it 120 total.
120. I still think it's a good idea if we could get those like masks of those Muppet characters
There we
that
go,
are out
okay.
in the theater. I forget their names. I always forget, but Hob raises and Abel calls with Jack 8, so we're heads up.
Check blind.
Abel checks blind here.
Check blind.
One of my favorite things to do is if a guy checks blind to me, I bet blind.
Hob bets 250 here, about the size of the pot. He brought it in for about 130 pre-flop. And Abel calls. Got a straight draw.
Oh, he's hit it.
And there you go. Turns a 10. Check, check. And the river's an 8.
Well, there you go. Everybody's got a straight.
Betting 800.
Well, Abel has the jack there. Hav
Oh,
actually
I'm sorry.
failed on his
For
hand.
some reason, I thought
Yeah.
it was a 7, 8, 9, 10 jack.
Pocket jacks ends up being good, huh?
Yeah, when it's 12%, that.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah,
thought
Dave,
we were
in
playing.
this game we used the best 5 cards. on
Right,
the board.
right. I thought 4 card straights were okay.
And Hav is going to muck it. So Abel there, he had a gut shot there on the flop,
Hit it.
then he hit it on the turn.
Checked.
Did not bet.
Right.
Got checked behind, and then scary action card came on the river and made no money. Action killer.
What are you going to do? Get away from it, Keith.
Live at the bike, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 Pacific time. Corporation Mike is going to straddle. What else is new?
Surprised he doesn't play in the Wednesday game, the bigger game.
Yeah.
Although there's actually more action in this game.
Well, yeah, the Wednesday game, we were talking to Yosh, and he said he actually might raise the blinds higher because he didn't think that there was enough action in it on Wednesday.
Why not just make the blinds 500,000 with a $5,000 buy-in? People are moving in every single hand.
And Mike did not raise with, I think he had King Jack in the straddle spot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's odd.
Flop-
Usually he'll raise it up in the straddle with any above average hands.
Flop comes deuce 3-4 cup of spades, limped around in a straddled pot,
Betting 300.
and Amir is going to bet with the overpair 300, and Hob quickly calls with overcards and a flush draw.
That was your partner.
Heads up.
So we've got an $800 pot, heads up, queen 10 against pocket 7s. Turns to 3. And Amir bets. He bets 500. $1,300 pot now.
500 to call. Getting a little bit over, about 2.5 to 1 on his money.
Thing is, what do you put Amir on right now? He bet the flop, he's bet the turn.
Well, even if you put him on pocket 7s, and you know that your queen, your 10, and your flush are outs,
And he calls.
well, 7 of spades comes out, it might be expensive.
And the river's a jack of spades, he makes it. And Amir bets again.
Wow.
Betting 600.
He bets 600. Is that a little blocker bet there, Dave? Stop bet aficionado?
To be honest with you, I think it's kind of a pretty silly bet.
So the pot now is what, $2,300, $2,400?
You kind of wonder, wait, was this guy betting his flush draw?
Right.
And now that he got there, he bet it?
$2,400, $600 to call.
I mean, Hobbs got to raise this. I mean, I didn't like the call on the turn, but if you're going to call the turn,
Raise.
And he does raise.
okay. Wow, look at this. We got a freeze frame. This is really,
Yeah, it was cool.
it was very dramatic.
Yeah.
And he raised it $1,200 more.
So now the pot is about 4,200, or 4,200, 1,200 to call.
Right.
And what can Amir do here with pocket 7s? I mean, he's going to muck it.
You can't beat anything anymore. I mean, it's like you can't even get a 3.
Like you said, even if he knew he had pocket 7s, he had what amounted to be basically 8 spade outs because the 7 of spades was no good, and 3 10s and 3 queens. So 14 outs. He was getting about 2.5 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like gambling, pretty much there's about 30 bad cards and 14 good cards.
But of course, that's only if you know that the guy had something like 7s. You don't know if he's betting a straight already. You don't know if he had a set or 2 pair, or he's already filled up. And like you
Or
said,
a higher flush draw.
this-
He could have
higher flush
ace,
draw too.
He could have ace rag flush draw.
Right. And like you said, that 7 of spades would have been expensive, right?
Oh, the 7 of spades is gonna, he's gonna
Yeah.
double Amir up.
Right.
Because Amir is definitely gonna call that raise. and move in.
Right.
Right.
5 player.
5-way action.
Seven, 3-3 out there. A couple of hearts. Allen's picked up the best hand. He's got king 7.
Diablo's got a flush draw, and he's going to bet.
Betting 100.
Yeah, he's got the nut flush draw.
Alan, come on.
And Allen calls.
One more heart.
Pot is now $300. The turn is a 9,
Betting 200.
and he bets 200.
I mean, would Diablo bet a 3? Straight out?
I don't know. And
That's the
Allen
question.
calls.
If you don't think Diablo would bet a 3, well, then you can raise with your king 7.
$700 pot now. The river is a 3, and Allen has a full house. And Diablo bets. He bets 300 here, Dave. I think this is a pretty easy call for Allen.
And this is just a call. There's
Yeah.
no point in raising this because
Right.
there's really no value to it.
Like you said, just a call.
I can't imagine, because you got to look at it and go, if the guy doesn't have a 3, will he call me with a worse hand than my hand?
And he makes the call, and that was $300 to win 1,000. And he makes the call, and he takes it down.
Now, the only thing that would have been interesting is, like, let's say Diablo actually had, like, ace, king of hearts, and the guy makes a minimum raise. Would you pay off an ace, king there?
Interesting question.
You know, the only problem with those are young. Allen called me on the flop. He called me on the turn. What do you think he has? You know, what's he calling with? Nothing?
Live straddle.
If you were playing that against Allen, Dave, and he didn't know it was you, and you actually were betting on a 3, and you made it on the river.
Go all name blind.
I mean,
I
with
made
quads,
quad
with quads at that point,
I know,
in
that's
my
why,
shoes, if I think Allen's got a 7, I might overbet the pot a lot.
Live straddle.
You don't want to scare him off, though. He only has a 7.
Yeah, but what is he going to be scared of?
An overpair. I mean, there are pocket 8s, pocket. Actually, guy could have had ace 9 even there. So there was a 9 out there also.
4-way action here, limped around again.
I mean, the secret to it all is to make the bet look the same,
Looks
whether
like-
you're bluffing or whether you have the 3.
Looks like Abel's flopped a straight. He has. And a couple people are open-ended here, Amir and Jesus. And Abel checks it with 2 clubs out there. And Jesus bets.
How does he know? Like he knows Jesus is going to bet
Betting
it.
190.
He bets 190. Look at this. Amir quickly calls with the open-ended straight draw. Allen's got king 6.
And look at Abel. Abel's already got the chips in his hand.
He just calls.
No.
Oh, there we go. He's going to raise.
Raise 500.
He makes
more.
it 500 more.
You can always get clues by using your peripheral vision. You can see, wow, he's already got chips in his hand.
Makes it 500 more.
And this should be a pretty easy muck for Amir. I mean, the pot is how much? Maybe $400, maybe $900.
Yeah, 500 to call.
Yeah.
Plus, there's 2 clubs out there. I mean, your heads up, so that might mean less. So he's going to muck it.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much a no-brainer there. I mean, the secret to it, though, as I said before, if you get your quad 3s or you're bluffing with ace deuce of hearts, you've got to make that bet look the same. You know?
Okay, Mike, maybe.
If you're going to bet 600, bet 600 both times. Because good players obviously will pick up on your betting patterns.
Live straddle.
And Diablo's going to straddle now.
But overbetting can be successful. I mean, if you overbet your bluffs and you overbet when you make your hands, well, you know, it's scary to call down your bluffs because you might have it that time.
Straddle. Live straddle. 20 more. Jack of diamond. Deuce of heart exposed. Those are good cards, right?
Pot is limped around in a straddled pot.
Wow.
So,
$200.
yep, 40 times 5.
5 player.
Queens once and flop the king 7.
Jack 8-4, rainbow.
Made a bad call on him.
Looks like Diablo's got bottom pair. And it looks to be the best hand right now. Gets checked around, and now he's hit trips. And he's going to bet.
Pretty straightforward there. So it's Statler and Waldorf. Who do you want to be?
Oh.
I'll be Waldorf.
Okay. I don't know what the differences are.
They're different people.
I don't know if you can get Muppet masks, like if we could get it like a Statler and Waldorf mask.
No, I'll make one.
Okay.
Well, I know, but I was trying to like make you feel.
And I just remember the Muppets. I mean, I was really young. They used to be on Sunday night at like 7:30. But did those guys always criticize what was going on the stage? Is that what their whole deal was?
They were like in the opera, and they were always...
Yeah.
When only the small one, Mike.
They were hecklers.
Okay.
When only our blind man.
Oh, that would be hysterical. We should do that on Halloween night.
All right.
Great. We'll start shouting at people and heckling. Pretty much do exactly what we do now anyway.
Right.
Thank you.
Button is in seat 7. That's Dr. BB.
I'm gonna play this.
And looks like we got pocket aces here for Jesus.
Raise, make a
I think
100.
this is the first time tonight. He makes it 100 to go.
Now, this is interesting. I wonder if West Hollywood Henry is that familiar with Jesus, because he's got King Queen.
King Queen suited.
Yeah, and if a king or a queen come out, he could get himself in trouble.
And Dave, it's a $100 raise, and look at this, 6 people in the hand.
Oh, it's like if you raise, it like attracts more people into the pot.
$600 pot. And the question is, will Jesus ever get away from this? Queen, deuce, 5, couple diamonds.
Now, the better than this is Henry or Amir. They're going to get themselves killed.
Oh, this is going to be crazy for Henry, like you
2
said.
people have top pair.
Betting 120.
And look at this. Henry bets 120 into a $600 pot. Allen calls with pocket 6s.
120 into a $600 pot.
Let's see what Jesus does.
Jesus is definitely going to raise this up. I mean, he can move all in even.
¿Qué pasó,
Raise,
George?
make
Okay?
it 420 total.
He makes it 420 total, so 300 more. Pot is now 1260. It's 300 for West Hollywood. Henry to call if it comes
Now,
back
this is
around to him.
interesting here because
You okay? You lose another
Amir's
hand?
only got a 10
I
kicker.
thought you lose another hand.
Wow.
And is Amir going to push all in? Does he have a $1,000 chip there? He moves all in.
Well, that might save West Hollywood Henry.
He's going to move all in for probably, it looks like, I want to say 1,300.
This might save West Hollywood, but he has trouble getting away from hands sometimes. Let's see if he gets
No,
away.
it is going to save him, Dave. It saves him. And it's only maybe 600 more back to Jesus. And I'm sure he's going to make the call. And he does. And Jesus has the ace of diamonds in his hand. He's going to have to get, I mean, Amir would have to get really lucky by hitting a 10 here or that case queen.
Yeah.
Over a $2,700 pot. Oh, the turn's a queen! And the river's a king, the case queen. Oh, wow.
Well, that's an awful beat.
Hey, look at this. Amir slow rolls him. He slow rolls him with the 10 up first.
I don't think he meant that. I
wow.
think he just turned over one card at a time. That's terrible. Oh, man. And West Hollywood Henry would have made queens full of kings.
Queens full
there.
of kings, yeah.
Case queen, huh?
Oh,
King,
man.
Mike. No, case queen. I saw.
Oh, wow.
The case queen on the turn there. Now, he did have 4 outs. Could have caught one of the last 3 tens also. Oh, and is that going to set Jesus off or what?
I don't know. I mean, I would always like to see Jesus win because it tends to promote more action. But,
Yeah, you don't really want the money going in Amir's hands.
right.
Oh, man. Talk about overplaying your hand there with Queen 10.
Right now, whoever wants 2 tickets. The best player.
I mean, I understand you want to raise
Send you guys
Jesus,
demo there, too.
but what, are you just dismissing the 6 players behind them, too?
It's a gift. What day?
Granted, his aggressive play actually got the best hand out.
I send you there. 2 Lakers tickets.
Well, didn't get the, well,
Best seat
got the,
from the bike.
Got the best hand out.
What do you ask?
I mean, got King Queen, the
Right,
eventual best
right,
hand.
right.
Better than the, I have 2 tickets for Lakers.
I mean, if Amir had played it passively and just called, you wonder if West Hollywood Henry would have been in there. And once the case queen comes up, there's no way Henry's going anywhere.
Okay, I go on the bike.
Diablo's got pocket aces. And Diablo's going to raise.
Raise, make it 100 total.
It's a $100 raise here.
Respect for Diablo.
Thank you, Ropa.
He raises out of the small blind with pocket aces to 100.
80 more. 80 more to call.
All right, sir.
Alan, I don't like it. I don't like it when you're in my hands, Alan, somehow.
And Allen's going to call. And Jesus calls the 10-4 spades. And BB's in there with Jack 9. So here we
What's
go.
$100?
$400 pot.
His money.
Oh, 4, deuce 4. Jesus has got revenge with the aces.
Oh, man. And that's a great flop for him.
And unfortunately for Jesus, I don't think he has that much in front of him.
Betting 200.
And Diablo bets 200
I
here.
think she still has about $1,000.
Does
I
he?
don't like it when you're in my hands.
Betting 200 with overcard, Diablo?
Wow.
I think he only has about 550 left. Dude.
I said, oh, okay.
I'm not gonna like you. I'm not
Well,
gonna
he
say you
should
have
double
a
up
card.
here.
All right. I'll let you.
Alan
I'll
Mux.
let you- I'll let Jesus get.
And Jesus, what has he done here? Just calls?
What, he's getting tricky with
He just called. He doesn't have any chips left. Look at this. He's made quads.
Wow. And this is interesting. This actually cannot be a jackpot. I thought maybe for a second we could get a jackpot somehow, but no, it can't be.
Diablo bets 400. And Jesus moves all in for the rest.
90 more.
And he's got quad
Blow it
fours.
all the way on the last hand. Diablo.
And Diablo's obviously drawing dead.
Fold your hand. Fold your hand, man. Fold your hand. You got no chance.
Rivers at 3.
You got no chance. Yeah.
I got to tell you, it would have been really interesting if Jesus had had a lot of money on that hand. Because if you've got pocket aces there, I mean, when do you lay off and you give credit for someone with quad fours at that point?
I mean, Jesus,
Because Jesus wouldn't lay down an overpair,
the
right?
bad beat from the hand earlier is a huge bad beat. Because
Right.
that literally is like a I mean, because he should have all the money in front of Amir,
Right.
plus the money he had,
Right.
and all the money in front of Diablo.
Do you think he would have had all of Diablo's money?
What, he's going to get rid of? He's going to get rid of fours full of aces.
Yeah. He would have been on an incredible rush, you're right.
I mean, Diablo had the second nut hand, right? I mean,
Oh, there's Ed.
with that flop out there.
Yeah. The button moves over to seat 9. You're right. He might have had all of Diablo's money. I mean, he could have basically... He could be at, like, say, $10,000, $12,000 right now.
Definitely. I
mean,
just don't
except
think
that case
I just
came
don't
out.
think Diablo gets away from the hands.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong, but
I don't think so. I tend to agree with you.
I mean, you got to go. Okay, if he doesn't have a 4, I have the next best hand after a 4. Especially with a deuce and a 3 on the board.
Live straddle here by Abel.
Well, Jesus is backed up with $1,500 right now.
Limp. And look at this. BB limps in with ace-king here, Dave. Again, I mean, a raise for value with ace-king. But he just limps in a straddle pot. And we're going to see 6-way action here. $240 pot. 6, 7, 10, couple spades.
Mike's got a pair of 7s here.
Yeah. And Abel's going to bet here with top pair. Deuce 10. And Mike raises. He raises it to 320. $150 bet. Mike makes it 320 to go.
And did Dr. Beebe lay down ace king of spades?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, but actually he did not have ace king of spades though. He had ace of clubs, king of spades.
Ace of clubs, king
Yeah.
of spades. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, and Abel folds.
I was going to say ace king of spades. Wow.
Yeah. I didn't actually even see how the graphic was up there because I was looking at his cards over here. I was so flabbergasted that he didn't raise pre-flop with ace king.
Now, obviously, you at home don't know. We have a couple of different plasma TVs
Right.
in front of us, and one of it is what you guys at home see, and the other one is the cards
Right.
for us.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty tight laydown.
I'm going ace king of spades. How do you lay that down?
Yeah.
From that hand's big enough to almost, make a huge raise on.
I don't know if. Mostly
So Amir got lucky and Jesus got very unlucky because he should have all of Diablo's money.
Raise, make it 80.
And Amir raises here, makes it 80. Queen, Jack of Spades.
And ace is no good at this table, huh?
Four-way action. $320 pot. King 4 deuce, couple diamonds.
Well, Alan's got the flush draw.
And look at BB, he's going to bet.
Well, you know what? There's only one overcard. And there's only one player after him.
He bets 150 into a $320 pot.
It's another time where if Alan would have raised, he would take the pot down right here.
But he just calls.
Heads up.
And we're heads up. $620 pot. Turn is an ace.
Check.
See if BB keeps betting, and he is.
Bet 150.
He bets 150 into a $600 pot.
Well, it's kind of a scared bet.
And Alan calls. So now the pot's about 1,000. And the river's a 10. I just had a feeling that Alan might accidentally make it there with a pair at the end.
He's all in.
Wow.
And Alan moved all in there at the end? Wow, Alan moves all in as a bluff.
No other way of winning.
And he takes it down.
I cannot.
One of the first times we've ever seen that from him.
Wow. Maybe he's trying to impress the ladies.
Thank you, sir.
Stop reading me, though.
Thank you, sir.
Mike, just
I don't think she was actually paying attention. But hey,
Nice bottle.
you think maybe he sensed the weakness on Dr. Beebe there, and bet when he missed.
Slice bottle.
Kind of an odd bet on the river, though. 10 of hearts, you'd go, how did that make your hands? Why
Yeah, I
would
was
you
going to
moving
say,
all
like,
in?
if you replay that card, it's like, what do you put him on? Queen, Jack of Diamonds or something
Right,
like
it's
that?
like-
Yeah.
I mean, you could put him on that, Queen Jack of Diamonds.
It's here.
But in the end,
Jesus
pocket
straddles.
fives, what are you going to do with it?
Jesus is going to straddle here. I just wondered if BB might have actually bet the river, thinking his hand wasn't going to be good in the showdown. Six-way action here, straddled, so $240 pot. Queen 3-3. Amir has top pair.
But Mike's going to bet.
Bet 150.
Well, like you said, often, like when a flop comes with a pair, it misses everyone.
Yeah, without a doubt. What's interesting here, though, Mike again. Mike is betting when he has nothing. I don't understand why he doesn't bet when he has second pair.
And Abel calls with pocket fours. It's a $150 bet.
3 players.
Now, Jesus is not in there.
So the pot is now about $700. Amir with the best hand. The turn is an 8.
Changes nothing.
And it gets checked around. And the river's an 8. And Amir still has the best hand. Remember, it's about an $800 pot. I was going to say if Mike fires here, let's see how much he bets, but he doesn't fire. It gets checked down.
And Amir takes it down. Amir having a nice night here.
Get the queen.
Nothing like sucking out to get you going, huh?
Thank you, sir.
That's a nice shot there by our cameraman. I mean, I tell you, Amir's a really good-looking guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I can't get enough of him. Let's go back to Amir. Let's see him again.
This will be fun.
But
There
But
he is.
there he
Really
is.
a good-looking guy. Let's really get in there. Wow.
especially the front tip of his nose.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah. The front tip of his nose.
Already won one. When am I going to win one?
The button has moved over here to C3.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20,
Raise 210.
and it's Friday night.
Got a $210 raise here by, I believe it was Corporation Mike here. He's got ace 10 offsuit. And he's raised out of the straddle spot, which he likes to do. And Abel calls with pocket deuces.
$200?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, how much money does Abel have behind him?
Heads up.
Well, he's got that rack, so he's got probably at least 3,000 or 4,000. And we're heads up, ace 10 against pocket deuces. King, queen, 5. And Mike does not bet. The turn's a 4. Abel checks again.
I mean, is Mike, like, scared of the check raise today?
And now Mike bets. He bets 400. Tough to play pocket deuces out of position.
You know, I'm really surprised Abel did not bet the turn. I mean, you get it heads up, you flop a gut shot. Why would you not bet that?
Well, Abel gets the button now. Seat 4. Look at Hav with all those chips.
He had a good big win off of Mir there.
Yeah.
Where he made his flush on the river.
Button now is in seat 4.
No limit hold'em. 1-2 style.
You got it.
No fold'em hold'em, huh?
I mean, this is probably going to play like our $40 no limit game.
Hasn't. 6
6-way action limped around. 120 in the pot. Ace, 8, 7.
Ooh, Henry's got 2 pair.
Yep, and Abel's got top pair.
Check.
So let's see how West Hollywood plays it. He's going to bet.
Now Mike's got a gut. Mike and Dr. Beebe both have the same open-ended straight draw.
$150 bet there by Henry. Abel calls with the ace 9. Mike's in there with the gut shot.
Dr. Beebe's got a call too here.
Or Mike's got open-ended straight draw, and yeah, and so does Beebe. Open-end and open-end.
Now Abel will. I think Abel's gonna have trouble getting away from this.
It's about a $700 pot. The turn is a 7. Henry still has the best hand.
And Abel's actually in really bad shape because even if he hits his 9, that'll make Mike and Dr. Beebe straight.
Look at this. Henry checked it. Now Abel bets. He bets 400.
Wow.
The pot is now $1,100, 400 to call. and Henry's going to move all in. I believe he has moved all in. Or
No, he just called.
Oh, he just called? Excuse me, the river is a deuce.
And he checks it.
An ace 8 is good. It looked like I thought he could have sworn he moved all in there, Dave.
Yeah,
but
he
you're
moved
right.
in his red chips, his
Ah.
brown chips, and he kept his white chips out.
So he check called there and he takes it down.
And he only had about 500 more.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised he didn't bet that.
Yeah.
I
He was
really,
just scared that
I
someone
really
had a
thought he
7.
was doing the check, setting up a check raise there.
Yeah, I know. No.
I mean, because obviously, even though if the other guy had ace king or ace queen, you still would have aces and 7s with a queen kicker. And your aces and 8s obviously are a better 2 pair.
So here's a look at another chip count.
I mean, I tell you, for all
8,000.
the crap that we give Dr. Beebe, he always seems like he's at the top of the boards.
Yeah. Abel, he's up to 5,500 now. Unfortunately for Jesus, down to 1,500. And Alan seems to always be rounding out the board, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think his
Oh, there's a nice shot.
best calling is actually the shootouts. We had a $1,000 shootout a couple of nights ago that Alan won.
Can we go back to that shot, please? We missed it. It's limped around here. Ace 8 4.
Check.
Looks like Alan's got ace deuce and he's going to bet 80. And Jesus is going to call. He's got
So does
bottom
Mike.
pair. Mike's got second pair.
Oh, you're on the pod. You want in, huh?
A lot of cards you got to dodge here.
3 play.
And we've got 3-way action.
The hand.
Hey.
Turn
There's
is a 6, and Mike makes 2 pair.
Mike makes 2 pair. Now, it's funny, a lot of times you go, wow, what a bad beat. But you got to think of all the cards that would have hurt Alan there.
Right. He bets 300, and Alan gets away from it. And he's going to take it down. He just shows 1 card.
Good laydown from Alan there.
But does he think he just laid down the best hand?
Alan? No, I don't think he does. I mean, I think he thinks maybe that he had 2 pair. Or, I mean, he has ace deuce. You really want to go to war with ace with no kicker? You know?
Yes. Okay. You big blind. Small blind. You big blind.
Button moves over there to seat 6.
Yes, sir. What is one?
Well, can I get a rack ball?
Yeah. Let me enjoy at least one.
Okay.
Eustace Langostino?
Oh, Mike speaking a little Spanish there at the table?
Really?
Corporation Mike?
Well, working here, he must know some Spanish. You just kind of assume.
Raise 100.
We got a $100 raise here by, looks like Mike there on the button.
We get 100.
I don't think so.
Hob is real patient there, real disciplined and real patient.
Only me and you? Mike? Mike, do you want me to call?
And Alan's got a little gap-suited connector.
All right. You want me to call you?
Get up, Mike.
Absolutely.
And he makes the call. So we're heads up, Queen 10 against 7, 9 of hearts.
And they both take a little piece of it.
Yep. And it gets checked to Mike, and he bets with top pair, and Alan calls with second pair.
And 200 there.
So it's a $600 pot now
Wow.
to the turn. Turns a jack. Oh, and Ed's coming to the game, Dave. More action.
And they both picked up a straight draw.
And both players check. And the river is an 8, and that gives Alan a straight.
Yes.
With the 9.
I actually take that back. Mike did not.
Yeah,
have
Mike
a
didn't
straight
pick up a
draw.
straight
No, Mike
draw.
did not.
And Alan bets
All
400.
in.
Which one?
Wait a minute, Mike says he has a straight? Mike misread his hand. Mike moved all in there on the river. Alan called. Mike thought he had a straight. He misread his hand. He just gave away about $1,000 there.
Yeah, it's not such a big deal that I misread his hand, but it is a big deal when he misreads his
Right,
hand.
right.
Nothing worse than losing somebody.
He misread his hand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he just gave away $1,000 pretty much.
Right. And Alan,
Now, fortunately for him, Alan only had about, I want to say, 700 left, right?
600 or 700. Yeah, look at how his complexion turns red.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks like a tomato now almost. He's real mad.
One of those, like, beefsteak tomatoes, right?
Right.
Have you ever gone to a good steakhouse and had, like, a good beefsteak tomato?
Yes, I have.
Beefsteak tomatoes and onions?
7-9? Nice.
And he says, what'd you call the flop? Was 7-9. Nice. But Alan made the straight at the end.
You know, it's funny. Mike always likes to criticize somebody else's play, like for calling with second pair. Like Mike doesn't do that every other hand.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing if you're going to criticize somebody's play, but I mean, talk about calling the what is it, the kettle black?
Well, we've seen some people, misread hands before, Dave.
We do it all the time.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, it doesn't cost us any money though.
Right.
Right. You wait for blind, right? So you want
We just go, oops, my bad. Okay, move on.
No, you're not.
Is that what you're trying to hit? Your second pair with a 9 kicker?
See, Mike's still talking about that.
Why would you?
I mean, we saw earlier, if you want to go through the hands for the night, we saw earlier, flop was like king 5 deuce, and Mike had 5-6 and called. So, and I like Mike a lot. He's a good guy,
Not
but
only did you
his criticism here really doesn't hold
make an
water.
awful call, but then I misread my hand. I thought I had 10-9. I thought it was a chop.
King, Queen, 6 here. It was limped around.
Bet 100.
Abel did not braise with pocket 10s.
Well, he's eating.
Amir bets 100 with top pair, and Abel calls.
Now, if you're not going to raise with 10s, Don't lose any more money with him. What are you in there with?
Turns a queen. Amir's going to bet again. Bets 200.
Abel's one of those players, he likes to take one off no matter what.
Yeah, it looks that way. Notice how the girls, they tend to smile a little bit more after a couple of those drinks.
Oh, yeah,
That looks like a very pretty drink over there, too.
Well, you smile more after you drink, don't
That's
you?
true. And, of course, if you want to catch me tonight, guess what night it is tonight, Dave?
Oh, it's two fist night.
Right.
It's double fist night at the bike. Huh?
Double fist night at the bike.
Bart's going to have, 2 Miller Lights or 2 Heinekens or what?
It's it's St. Pauli Girl or Miller Lite, something like that. So in addition to the game, Ed in seat 2 and West Hollywood and Henry is out of there. So he hits and runs.
Well, he always does that, West Hollywood
Yeah.
Henry. I mean, how many times does he basically comes in here, he wins one pot, and he goes home.
Jesus has raised it up here to 120, I believe,
So 100 more.
with like ace 8 suited.
Ed is well dressed here, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Ed's got deuce. Abel's got deuce 7 of clubs. Any 2 suited? Is he going to play? It's a $100 raise. He did call. He called. Wow.
Suited,
Jesus
Ed.
has
Come
got
on,
the best
Bart.
hand.
Now he's got a flush draw.
Ace 10 Jack.
Check.
Amir's got the straight.
Yep, Amir flops a straight.
Bet 200.
Jesus bets 200, and is Jesus going to be able to get
Well,
away
this is
from
trouble. I mean, Jesus is top pair. Abel's got a flush draw, and Amir's got the made straight.
Amir just calls, and Abel calls. So we've got about a $900 pot here to the turn. The
And there's a
turn's the flush for Abel.
Uh-oh, and is Amir going to get himself nabbed or what?
Now, is
Uh-oh.
Jesus going to keep betting? Abel checks. Uh-oh, and Jesus moves all in, and he's drawing dead.
Uh-oh, now the problem is Amir has to act before Abel.
Yeah, Jesus moves all in, but Amir's going to call here with the straight, but Abel has the flush.
See, that's why you're in there with
Oh,
7 of clubs.
my. And he hasn't called yet. And we're going to have to figure out the amount of this pot. This is incredible stuff. And there it is. He's got probably, how much does seat 4 have there?
And they're all drawing dead. Abel has won this hand.
Dave, he had about 5,500 at the last chip count, and Amir is really deep as well. So Amir has to call a big raise here by Abel on the
Amir's-
side.
Amir's got another, I looked really quick there, Amir's got another about $2,800.
He's got to call what? About $2,800 here on the side.
And he's drawing dead.
Abel has checked the turn. Jesus moved all in with the ace. Amir called, and Abel's moved all in.
And I like the play by Abel. I mean, 'cause you can't, obviously, you don't know that your opponent's drawing dead.
Right.
13, 14.
And I got
And
to
if
tell
Amir
you,
has king, queen, and a queen of clubs, you don't want to give him a free draw. You only have a 7 high flush.
60.
Wow.
it's 21-20 more. So let's try to I'm trying to figure out how big that pot was, Dave. It was, I want to say it was about 900 on the flop. Jesus bet about 1,200. Amir called. So that's 3,300. Then Abel also calls and then raises 4,500, and then another 2,000, 2,100. So 6,600, 2,100 to call.
No, he had 5,500.
And look at this. Amir has laid it down, and Abel shows the flush.
Nice lay down there from Amir. I mean, actually a pretty easy lay down, but nice
Yeah.
lay down.
Well, we were getting word that he actually heard from the dealer that it was 2,100. more.
2,100 more. Okay.
So
21.
there you go.
So he takes down about a $6,000 pot there.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
So put that deuce 7 in your pipe and smoke it. Jeez. That's going to be his new favorite hand.
And it looks like the lady friend that Abel has behind him.
Doris, his lovely wife.
Doris. His wife Doris is eating one of my special. Is that a Thai chicken back there?
Looks like lobster.
Oh, it's lobster. Boy, that was close, huh? Yeah.
Time for a new prescription?
Thai chicken,
Glasses?
lobster.
Well, she was about to dig in, and Amir said, "Go ahead and eat up. I just made a flush."
Yeah. Abel.
Abel. Abel, Amir, these names, I can't get them.
And Jesus went broke, but he's going to rebuy for 2,000 behind. And he straddles.
And the way that hand played out, it just worked out perfectly for Abel.
Yeah.
Because Jesus bet, Amir called. Luckily, Amir called and didn't move in. Because if Amir moves in,
Yeah.
he's going to lose all his money.
We got three-way action here. King 9-4, couple clubs. Abel has pocket eights, and Amir's hit top pair with King 10. And he bets 200.
Well, you never know when you're going to get the great hands, huh?
And is Abel going to take one off here again? We can't see what Jesus has there. I can see 1-7, but I don't know what the other card is. 7-5, so he doesn't have much of anything.
And the problem now with Jesus is once he starts losing money, he tends to steam a little bit. And
Abel gets away from it.
He could go through thousands.
Looks like Jesus is drinking, what, a little Cape Codder there, Dave? Are you a fan of the Cape Cod?
It's okay, I suppose.
Yeah. It could just be cranberry juice as well.
I like Greyhounds better.
Actually, I was going to ask you, that's actually my favorite.
Yeah,
thing.
see,
I love
like
white grapefruit juice.
Cranberry's always been a little
Sweet.
tart for me, almost.
Well, see, the thing with me is I actually drink unsweetened cranberry juice, which
Really?
is incredibly tart. But I love white grapefruit juice. Yeah, unsweetened cranberry juice. If you're not ready for that,
Yeah.
it's almost undrinkable.
Now, do you drink it often? I mean,
Yeah.
bladder infections?
Well, it's supposedly really good for the prostate.
Really?
But I enjoy the taste of it.
That's good to know. A little more information than I need to know, but thank you.
You gonna give me action?
And Jesus is going to raise here out of the big blind with ace-jack offsuit. 100 more.
You never know what you're going to hear on Live at the Bike, huh? We've now talked about Bart's prostates.
And Hav is going to call here with a little 4-5 offsuit. And here we go. Four-way action. $400 pot.
Is this the same hand?
Yeah, it keeps going.
King, Queen, 9, couple spades. Not really that good for ace-jack.
Amir's got the best hand right now with Queen 7. Second pair with a backdoor flush draw.
And Jesus is going to bet. Now, can Amir call here with all these people behind him with Queen 7?
I don't think so.
180.
It's a $180 bet here on the flop.
It's one of those things where, yeah, you can know Jesus is bluffing, but you have two players behind you. That's the problem.
I think Jesus is going to take this one down, right?
I'd imagine so.
I mean,
At this
Ed
point,
doesn't have any.
well, at this point, he wants Ed to call.
Just because you wanted the action.
I have this one.
So you win. Jack 4. Jack 10.
And I got to give Jesus credit. You know, whether he's winning or losing, he's still a really good. You know, he's just smiling. He's still having fun. And maybe he smiles a little bit more when he wins, but don't we all?
Now, do you sometimes, after the show, I've actually gone, while I've been double fisting, you know, walking over to the Mexican poker tables on a Friday night, I've looked for him, but haven't necessarily found him anywhere. He's over there at the No Limit Mexican poker table?
Occasionally, I mean, he doesn't play every night. I think it depends how it goes here.
I want you to stay healthy all the time.
Yeah, well, you're going to pick up your cholesterol?
I think that Russ McGinley joined the 2+2 thread a little late tonight. He said, Tuckman, why are you wearing your Jets jersey? Don't you realize their season's ended already?
Yes, I realized that. But, you know, I'm a loyal fan.
That was one of the first things I said tonight, Russ.
Heads up here.
And actually, Jesus raised here out of the small blind with Queen 10. Abel called.
Oh, and now Amir's going to call too, I think. I mean, Abel.
Or Amir called, you're right. And now Abel is going to call. And geez, Jesus is in really tough shape here. He's dominated both ways.
Yeah.
Oh, all diamonds. Oh, he doesn't bet. He had the Queen of Diamonds in his hand.
Now let's see if Amir bets the King of Diamonds.
Nope.
What are you going to do?
Turns a 7.
Well, they all have the same gut shot.
Austin, huh?
Obviously, if they hit
And
it,
Jesus
though.
bets here. He bets 100. Amir calls.
Now, if an 8 comes, they both have the 10 high straight.
River's an ace. Uh-oh. Jesus has got the second nut flush, and Amir has the nut flush.
You doubled me up. You got it almost exactly.
300.
And Jesus bets 300 here.
Now, this is an easy raise situation.
Amir's going to raise.
That's 1100 more.
He makes it 1,100. Uh-oh. There it is. There it is, Dave. Push into my nuts, right? It's always nice.
Come on, what are you doing, Jesus?
If you ask for 10, you're still no good.
Oh.
He always asks for 10.
You know, and I saw Amir. Amir was actually telling me, he goes, you know, I always do better before Live at the Bike and after Live at the Bike. I never do well during the show. And I go, well, maybe today will be your night. You know, today will be your day. And sure enough, it is. The best card, too, the Ace of Diamonds.
Ed, I thought you were going to New York today.
Convinced Jesus that he had the best hands.
You're not taking me?
Take blind.
I mean, not only can you not raise there, you can't even call a raise.
I was going to
with
say,
Ace
it's
Diamonds.
even tough for you to call, right? I mean, it's...
You can't call.
I mean, unless someone's just... It was a really, really tough, tricky player, but still, Dave, it's just...
I mean, yeah, if Mo was against Jonas and
Right.
something strange is happening, you never know. Couldn't make a play, but you know Amir's not making a play there. I'd bet my prostate that he had the King of Diamonds.
Raise 90.
You got propellers on the front?
Time, please.
And we got a raise here by seat 2 with pocket 5s. That's Ed. Made it 90 to go. Abel calls with Jack 10
We
offsuit.
have a jet there, Ed?
90.
Jesus is back in there. He's buying more chips.
Pretty tempting. If I didn't have something to do on Sunday, I'd be there. I
90.
swear. Next time.
We haven't really heard much from Diablo all night. Seat 1.
Next time, I swear.
It's all on me, don't worry.
Or
In
seat
Diablo
9.
seat 9,
Seat
yeah.
9, yeah.
No, yeah, he's had a quiet night.
Now, BB's got ace king. He just made the smooth call. Jack 6 deuce.
Check.
I think Ed still has the best hand here, huh?
Yep.
Bet 200.
He bets 200 into about a $400 pot. Abel calls. He's got, well, actually, Abel's got the best hand with top pair here. Jack 10.
You know, mere technicality.
And BB's going to call? Going to take one off with the ace king.
Taking one off.
Wow.
I tell you what, if I
Turns a queen.
Well, now he's picked up a draw. He's got a gut shot.
Check this.
Pot's about $950 right now. And Ed bets 300. Abel calls.
Time.
Ooh, and he's getting the...
BB's moving his filet mignon into place.
And I'm sure he'll muck this.
You're wrong. He makes the call.
Another great call by Tuckman.
$1,850 pot to the river. The river's a 7, and Jack 10 is good.
Time, please. Then.
Is this going to get checked down at this point?
I think so. If Ed's going to bet, he's going to have to bet big. It's an $1,800 pot.
Check.
No, it just gets checked down there, Dave.
No, nobody bet. You check.
I just don't understand.
Yes, you did, sir.
I don't understand what Dr. Beebe is doing on that play there.
Yeah.
Because if you catch, okay, obviously if you catch a 10, that's not a spade, you're good. Okay? Because you have the, obviously have the nut straight. But if you catch an ace or a king, how do you know that one of the other players doesn't have 2 pair? I mean, it's one of the things to me, when I have ace king or ace queen, and if I raise, I don't like to take one off necessarily. Sometimes I'll play it aggressive and re-raise somebody, but I don't want to take one off because if I hit my ace, somebody else might have gotten lucky and caught their second pair.
Exactly.
And then I'm trapping myself.
And if you're going to play it slow pre-flop, get rid of it, right, when nothing comes. I mean, it was almost like playing it like a limit. Like you would call the flop probably in a raise pot limit with Jack 5 deuce there with ace king. But
I might not even call there. To be
yeah, it
honest.
depends on
I
the
just don't-
texture of the board.
I just don't
Yeah.
want to get. I don't want to get nailed
Right.
with somebody who has king jack or somebody who has ace jack. You know. Then I catch my king. I raise him. He re-raises me. I'm going. I still know where I'm at.
Back in the road again.
So Jesus is again playing behind. We'll find out how much he's behind. And the pot is limped around.
I did a house worker's customer. He's a pilot.
Ace, queen, jack.
was looking for a
Amir's got a gut shot.
boss.
Look at that. No one has any paint.
Amir.
Well, yeah.
I mean, look at this. Look at this collection of crap that everybody has.
Jesus.
9-3, 3-5, King 5.
Well, BB's picked up a flush draw now.
And Allen has the best hand with 4-6.
Jesus is 1,000 behind.
Well, whoever bets this is going to win it.
Bet 100.
I assume.
Well, Alan bets 100.
Ayun.
No, I don't think anybody can call this.
Well, that's the type of thing that where if BB came out and bet there with his reputation, he would have taken it down.
Now he should raise this instead of call.
Well, now he's going to call.
If he raises it, he takes it down.
Right.
Oh, you need permits and expenses también.
Pot's about $320. And the river's an ace.
With money and
Can he throw a bet out now? I mean, he is total. He has nothing. Nope, BB just gives up. Remember, I mean, nobody bet the flop. Okay. Now he checked the turn. Now the river paired an ace. I was going to say if he bets here on the river, can Allen call? Maybe Allen might think it's fishy because wouldn't BB have bet the ace on the turn? But in this case, Allen only had a 6.
No,
So.
because think about it. It's ace, jack, queen. You could easily have had. I mean, Dr. BB easily could have had a queen, and now goes, oh, the ace paired. My queen
Yeah.
is good.
And bet the river.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I had this long conversation with Dr. Beebe, and I said, I like your game, you know, like about 50% of it is really, I like the solid play. I like the fact that you're patient. If you would just mix that in with a couple of, couple of tablespoons of aggressiveness, he'd be fine.
Teaspoons of aggressiveness.
No, he needs a couple of tablespoons.
How many times have I seen Jack? I'm not trying to be a fan, but we change it down.
Pot is limped around here. Now BB's got ace queen. He chose to limp here pre-flop. And Dave, I think he was on the button with ace queen. It did not raise. 8-9 queen here. And it looks like his hand is good right now.
Yeah, right now it is good. A bunch of people have gut shots.
Look at this. Hav bets him with an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw. Jesus also has top pair.
Yeah, the problem with Hov's open-ended straight draw, though,
Yeah.
is if the 10 hits,
Right.
he has no idea if it's good.
Now look at this. Look at this. A bet, a call by Allen, and Jesus raises 300 more with queen weak kicker. And BB, who never raised pre-flop, the action's on him with ace queen.
Well, to me, BB's got to make a huge raise here or throw his hand away. Because you want to isolate
He just
Jesus.
calls. He just calls.
To me, you want to isolate Jesus. You don't want those other hands in there.
that should be one of the biggest shots.
And Hov's hand might be big enough to move in with.
8-4.
Excuse me, Dave. I'm sorry. I think he actually did re-raise.
Okay. Well,
he did re-raise.
With BB re-raising, obviously,
Yeah.
that's going to change the landscape. That's changes the hands.
He made it 840 to go. Jesus had made it 370. BB makes it 840. Hav initiated the bet on the flop for 120. Allen called in between.
Now,
with the gut
this is
shot.
the problem for Hov. Now, he's got to look at it and go, okay, first of all, are my clubs good if I hit them? And does somebody maybe have Jack 10 already? Is my straight good if I hit my straight? Now, we see that it is good. Now, if he knows all the draws that he has, his hand is strong enough to actually move in on.
Dave, the pot is $1,600. And for Hav, because he already has the 120 in there, it's $720 to call. So $1,600, $720 for Hav to call. And like you said, if the 10 comes, it's actually no good for him.
Well, I think it actually is going to be good. I can't imagine Allen calling.
Right, if everyone sticks in there.
Right,
yeah.
Allen's not going to call $800 with Jack
Right.
7, no.
45.
I don't know how I can lay this down.
55.
I mean, Hov pretty much, to me, Hov, this is raise or fold situation.
Well, the thing is, what do you put BB on? Because he didn't raise pre-flop. I mean,
He could have Jack 10.
right. I mean, Ace Queen with your hand 6-7 of clubs, you're not obviously in that bad of shape. But you just don't know what BB has. He
No,
could have
he
flopped
could have-
a set right now.
It's-
He
there
could
are a
have
lot of
Jack
things.
10. Yeah.
I mean, your hope, Ace Queen is probably the best thing you could have there.
Right.
'cause,
Right.
I mean, Hov's actually got 15 outs.
And he's gonna muck it.
I don't mind the muck. Like you said, he
You
could
just
be up
don't know what
against-
BB has. And look at this. Jesus makes the call, and he's all in again.
Nice play by BB. He isolated the player he
Yeah.
wanted to isolate.
Beat with a couple hands, but
Like you said, it's almost suicide to just call there.
now I'm really dead.
Turn is an 8.
Well, because now what? Now BB's going to bet at 1,500.
Right.
So what are you going to do now?
He's all in already.
Oh, sorry.
You still got a.
And let's see the river.
Jesus went all in, by the way.
Well,
And BB called.
BB called. The river was a jack. It was basically only a couple hundred more.
Oh,
That's why.
okay.
Yeah. He only had a couple hundred more.
Okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. It was kind of like ho-hum.
No, because Jesus had only rebought for 1,000.
I got you, okay. Now, Hob actually would not have gotten there. And like I said, I don't mind the muck at all. If you know you're up against ace-queen, he could have moved in. He actually probably would have lost to Jesus anyway, though. I think Jesus might have called.
Well,
A 10 jack
at
is
that
very
point, I don't know,
reasonable to
but
have.
my question to you is that if BB calls and Hob moves all in, I think BB mucks, right?
Without a doubt, I think definitely.
But again, like you said, you've got Jesus. You've got to think of the player in the middle. You've got Jesus in there who has raised the flop. And he only was playing 1,000 behind. He's already committed about 60% of his chips. And we've seen what he does with top pair, no kicker. He's going to call anyways. So you're not even, I mean, it's a semi-bluff to get BB out of the hand. You pick up his dead money. But Jesus is going to win the main if you miss. And that's exactly what happened.
But you got 15. You have 15 outs there.
Yeah.
You know, with two players, if you know you have 15 outs and there's two players, I mean, you're getting 2-1 on your money and you have 15 outs. Oh, that's
Right.
give me that every time. I'll go for it.
And he's going to continue to do these minimum buy-ins. Jesus has rebought for 1,000 again.
I don't know.
That would have worked out, though. You just
You smooth call there?
And it was kind of an interesting, funny story. I actually got my Jets jersey a couple days ago. Came in the mail. You see, remember earlier I had this jersey, but I got the wrong size, so they resent it to me the right size. And my wife kind of laughed at me. She opened it up, she cut it out of the package, she gave it to me, and she just laughed at me. She's like, "You're not actually going to wear that, are you?" And I was like, "Wow, I'm getting it at home too now. This is terrible."
Do I want to say that Abel is actually the big winner so far tonight? Seat 4, I think he is.
Abel or Amir? Amir's
Yeah.
a big winner too now.
Now, Hobbs got pocket jacks here in the big blind. And he's just checked. Oh, wait a minute. No, the option wasn't given to him, Dave.
Well, I mean, let's go reverse here. Who's actually lost money at this table?
And raised 300, big blind.
I mean, I think it's just Mike and Jesus.
Oh,
who's
Jesus,
lost money.
yeah. Jesus has lost a
And
lot.
Mike.
Is lost.
Dr. BB's probably up $3,000 right now.
Diablo really hasn't done much of anything.
No, he lost. He had pocket aces, remember? And Jesus made quad fours.
But that wasn't a big hand, though.
Yeah, but that $2,000 pot, though. He lost $1,000.
Well, remember, Jesus only had Yeah, right. He lost about 1,000, but, in the midst of this game.
Right, no, it
I
wasn't-
think you're right. I think he is down maybe a couple grand.
Yeah, he's down maybe a couple of grand. I think Mike's down a couple of grand, and Jesus is probably down maybe $4 or $5 grand.
I got to tell you, with this lineup, and when Hob raised there with pocket jacks, basically he took it down. With this lineup, Jesus, Ed, Mike, Diablo, I'm surprised that we haven't seen more big pots. It's kind of been just kind of a night where the cards just haven't fallen into place. Some of the right things haven't happened to see a gigantic pot yet.
Yeah.
Or a couple of gigantic pots.
Well, we haven't put the fixed deck in there yet.
The troll, he's on vacation under the table. He went away. You know that little troll that's under the table. Straddle here.
If that queen is on the other end, like a 4 or a 3,
Six-way.
queen's not on
Six-way
there,
action.
4 or 3, I'm not
Six-way
drawing
action,
it, man.
$120 pot?
Well, it was straddled, so it's 240.
240. Wow.
8 deuce 4.
I mean, it's
here.
like almost every single pot is $500-600 at least.
Jesus. Jesus. Okay. Okay. Check around.
And I think the best hand is actually Abel with Queen Deuce.
Yeah, no one has an 8, no one has a 4.
Jesus.
I was going to say, when is Mike going to bet here and try to steal it? The river's at 10.
Maybe now.
And no one has a 10 either.
I know. Abel has the best hand with a pair of deuces here. He has two pair.
I have a king.
Show. King high. King
Deuce is
high.
good.
Deuce is good.
Itty bitty king high.
That's a $240 pot that everybody just kind of gave up on.
Yep.
Amazes me.
What's Abel doing there with Queen Deuce? Was he in one of the blinds? Queen Deuce offsuit? Uh-oh, we're losing Jesus, Dave.
That was a straddle.
Yeah, he lost about, I want to say he lost probably a little over $5,000 tonight. He's got to lick his wounds, head over to the Mexican poker section.
Big blind Mike.
Have you licked your wounds before?
No, I don't lick my wounds, I suppose.
La Roca.
Not literally.
Good messes.
I suppose we all lick our wounds, don't
La
we?
Roca means my
Small
good
blind
friend.
Allen.
Okay.
I've got 2 seats on him.
And Abel's, Abel's taking is he getting out of there too? I think Abel's taking a walk as well.
Gave money to his lovely wife. It's the one problem with playing poker with your wife behind you. If you lose, you get hit. If you win, they take your money.
Jack 6-4 here.
That's 100.
Amir's got a jack.
That's 100. So we got 2 seats open, but Dave, I got to tell you, after this hand, maybe we can pan over and look at that board. It's just so long.
Oh, yeah.
So long.
Like I said, again today at about 3:30, I had 2 people call me up trying to get on the board.
I think Isaac's got, yeah, there we go.
And those are players not in the game yet, trying to get in
So it's
the
about
game.
15 names deep.
Doc, you want big one?
So if you want to play here live at the bike, just come early. Sign up and you can get in. Friday night is a tough night to get in there.
Yep. And I think that, I had gotten word from Mo that seat 4 was Dr. BB's friend. I don't know if that was Abel that was Dr. BB's friend or not, but...
Really? Well, we just lost Abel too.
You're
So
playing very tight today. What happened?
Well, I doubled you up already once. You want one more?
Did you?
I think Abel's actually friends with Jesus, which is why he got up.
Maybe he's a Mexican poker player as
Double
well.
me up.
Now I need to double up. Now it's time. Now is the time.
And Alan just got a $1,000 gift before from Mike.
Mike misplayed his hand.
He misread his hands.
Yep. Check, 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 and check, check, check here on the river, I believe.
I mean, Mike misplaying a hand. That's not news.
$50.
Oh, look at this. BB's going to bet $50 with 10 high. And Alan lays down jack high, which was the best hand.
Actually, Dr. BB had a pair of deuces.
Oh, excuse me, yeah, pair of deuces, you're right.
2 pair there, aces and deuces with a king kicker.
Yeah. That's why you're tight.
Again, what really is the point of betting a hand that you hope to win in Showdown that's a week there? Unless he doesn't think he has the best hand.
Yeah, with BB, I mean, I guess it might be, he can represent something if somebody else like backed into a better pair.
The only problem was the river paired up the ace.
Right.
Yeah. Looks like Alan's having some fun over there.
Yeah. Well, hey, he's up probably $1,200-$1,300. He's got a good-looking girl behind him.
Raise it to 60.
Life is good.
Now, have you ever had your wife sit behind you? I remember Dave. Actually, I remember Dave. One time, I believe a group of us from the casino were at the Bellagio. We came up behind you, and you yelled at the floor man, "Behind, behind!" to get us out of there. And you were serious.
Well, my wife, I don't mind behind me. You, I don't want behind me.
King 7-8 here.
You've got a terrible poker face. You give away all my talent. You give away all my hands.
Mike bets, and he's going to take it down.
Take it down, Mike.
Holy Christ. You see that? Tell my scooped a huge pot.
Me and Mike are big losers.
I actually did that. Old people from Live at the Bike remember Terry. And I was playing in a Bellagio tournament at the Bellagio. And Terry comes up behind me, and he goes, "Hi." And I go, "Hey, Terry." And then he proceeds to stand there, like 2 feet away from me, like right behind me. And I finally turn around, I'm like, "Are you going to just sit here all day or what?"
Raise it. Make it 70.
Well, I got to tell you a little story about Terry. Of course, Russ McGinley on the 2+2 loves Terry. Terry went
In
to
that
war
way?
with some of the 2+2ers when he first came on the show.
Really?
We got a raise here by Mike, I believe.
5 players.
A little bit of a short game here. We only got 7 players, but we'll get filled up in a second.
Well, Mike's hit top pair, and BB has the same hand. Queen 9-4. Amir's got King 9. And we got 5-way action. Mike bets. It's a $400 pot, I believe. Mike bets, I believe, 180, and BB's going to raise. He makes it 400.
Nice raise here from BB. This is the kind of gameplay I want to see from BB.
Re-raise.
And Mike re-raises.
5 more.
He makes it 900 to go. 500.
Now, this
And
is-
BB re-raises.
This is really interesting here.
Yep.
Now, if you're Mike, I mean, can you get rid of this hand at this point?
I
He
guess the
does.
answer is yes. And there you go, Dr. BB.
Wow,
Yeah.
good baby, good baby. There you go. What a play.
Yep.
I love it. I mean, that is really a fabulous, fabulous play.
Chop, chop.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a bet, a raise, a re-raise, and another re-raise.
Give it up.
Great play.
Now, what I was going to say was Terry was actually part of the Live at the Bike B team. We were talking about Scott Groves, who had come on the show a couple of days before. And Terry was actually a sad story of poker. He actually was grinding it out in, I guess, the lower level no limits, and then basically just went broke and left town. And no one's ever heard from him or seen from him since.
4 players.
Seen him since.
The sad story of a poker player.
Right.
Wow.
4-way action. King Jack 6. I believe I got the story. He actually spent his last money, his last $300, losing it at a 20-40 stud high-low table.
Oh, I
Boy,
wish I was there. Man, he gave it away. I was. Oh, come on.
The turn is 7.
130.
Hey, if he's gonna lose it, he might as well lose it to a friend, right? Amir's open-ended here.
Diablo bets here with the jack.
2 players.
And Amir calls with the open end. And Amir does not get there. And Amir gives up. Diablo checks. And he's going to
Pretty
take it down with
straightforward
the
there.
jack.
Amir plays it really straightforward. Man, that last hand from... I mean, I've never seen such aggressive play from Dr. Beebe. And that was really a fabulous play with Queen 10.
Small blind Allen.
Seat 4, we get Greek Poker God there. We got George Georgian. Do a quick recap of the players this table. We've got Hav, Midnight, Havalabas in seat 1. In seat 2, who the heck is in seat 2? Edge in seat 2.
Edge
Thank you.
Shanazarian.
Edge Shanazarian, there you go. Seat 3, we've got Alan. Seat 4, we've got George. Seat 5 is empty right now. We'll fill that up in a second. Seat 6, we got Mike. Seat 7 is Dr. Beebe. Seat 8 is Amir, and seat 9 is Diablo.
Pot was limped around. We have a 3 flush. King, Queen, 3.
I have a big one. In here.
Alan bets here with the king.
I
think
got
you're just
a
going to
big
stop
heart
right
in
there.
here.
100, and he takes it down.
You're just gonna say
Now,
that
George, if people watched Live at the Back last night, he had a tough night, Dave. last night.
Yeah.
I'm even right now.
Missed a couple of important value bets out in the river.
We actually, at the end of the webcast, we saw him go out there and he lost again.
Yeah.
With a hand nobody actually saw. He lost another hand where he flopped 2 pair, lost to a bigger 2 pair. And he just threw his chips.
Yeah, he blew
had
up.
kind of a
I've
little
never
like
seen-
temper tantrum and ran off.
When I see people suffer, I enjoy.
Now, I think that to put George the Greek Poker God in small blind, he's got pocket 10s. He does.
Yeah, I need only 1 card.
He was here the other night.
I think he played on what? He was what?
Off his ass.
Drunk?
Oh, I mean off his ass.
I think he played on Wednesday night here. Tang, I think it was his name. Sang.
Sang. Wow, let's get him in the game.
He wasn't that big of an action, though.
Really? Well, he
Wednesday.
might have been playing over his comfort level.
Yeah.
You know, you can put the biggest action player in a game that he's not comfortable playing in, and suddenly, you know, they become passive little girls.
Well, George is raised here out of the blind with pocket 10s. Diablo's got king, queen. And he's going to make the call, it looks like. It's $100. He makes the call.
Hello, Ed. Nice to see you.
Alan's got 8-9 offsuit.
100 more?
Yes, sir.
Let's call it. Diablo is in. I want to give it.
Oh, man, no.
3 ways now, $240.
Diablo.
3-way action. 8-3-4. And is Alan going to get into trouble here?
Alan could.
Make good, okay,
300.
George? Gonna get caught.
And George bets
Okay,
here.
Alan, get him.
300.
I enjoy when somebody suffers.
Oh, look at that. Alan gets away from it.
Wow.
And George takes it down.
George is a pretty solid player. Obviously, everybody goes on tilt once in a while, I suppose.
How's business?
Business is good.
Business is always good.
If you want to watch this show again, or any of the shows we've had, you can check us out at the archives. Just go to liveatthebike.com, click on the archive banner, and for just, I think, 50 cents a day, you can get access to this show and every show. The Barry Greenstein episode, Greg Raymer, Howard Doyle Brunson,
Lieber.
oh, I mean, the list goes on and on. Really great entertainment and great learning tool if you want to become a better poker player.
Amir has raised here with pocket queens.
Cash and kind.
Excuse me, he's got ace-jack. BB's got queens.
So
And did BB limp in?
now is he going to do the old limp
I
re-raise
think
here?
that BB limped, so let's see if he does the raise. Oh, he's just going to call, Dave.
3 players.
Just going to call. Queens
Now,
against ace
most
jack
players
against
you
ace
say,
three.
okay, well, he's slow playing, he's going to set up a trap.
Right.
But you don't know that with BB.
Oh, here we
All
go.
I want to know is when is Diablo going to stop talking?
King, 3, king.
No, very similar flop to the one on Wednesday night, right?
But you're going to be quiet for the rest of the night?
That's 200.
Mir bets 200.
Diablo has 2 pair as well.
At least 300.
Diablo calls. Remember, BB laid this kind of hand down.
Well, the smooth call's got to scare you, huh?
Yeah. And he's going to lay it down again, the queens.
You cry, yeah? You cry,
Well, I'll hand it to
2
Dr.
players.
BB. You know, I mean, we can hammer him for
Oh,
making...
look at that turn card.
Wow.
And BB saved himself a lot of grief, I guess.
Yeah.
Diablo bets 300.
Well, I mean, Diablo did play it like he had a king there. You know, smooth calls, like, ooh. Let's get tricky.
And by the way, in the background, George is giving Diablo a hard time, I think, because of last night. Oh, and Amir makes the call.
And Amir's drawing
We
dead.
got
What's he
over
doing?
$1,000 pot here, and a queen comes on the river.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Oh, give BB his hand back.
And it gets checked down.
Well, you can't blame...
How does Diablo not bet the river? And look at this. I think BB's telling Mikey at Pocket Queens. When it gets checked to you on the river, how does Diablo not bet there with ace 3?
Watching your play online.
Small blind. Big one.
I mean, I guess maybe he's thinking that he can't get called.
Hi, Sarah.
We saw that the guy called in the turn with ace jack.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I can't defend it.
BB looked like a genius on the turn, and then look a little unlucky on the river there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was talking to Dr. BB before the webcast tonight, and he said, he goes, you know, I just like to, and I always kind of advocate this. He goes, I like to pick my spots.
Yeah.
He goes, and I go with my gut instinct. If I feel bad about a hand, if I just have a bad feeling, he goes, I have no problem throwing a hand away. He goes, but we did see, I mean, 5 minutes ago, he made a stand against Mike with Queen 10, just top pair, and no kicker really.
Alan brought this one in for a raise with ace king, ace 10 of hearts called, and we got 4-3 in there as well. Mike's got 4-3 offsuit. 9-7 deuce. Alan's going to bet here again. Oh, excuse me, Ed. I'm sorry. Ed.
140.
And Amir calls with ace 10. Is he setting up a play?
No, he's got a lot of draws.
Pot's got about $450 in it. Turns to king. Well, he picks up a heart draw now, and Ed picks up top pair. Ed bets again here. He bets 400. Is this a time to raise here, Dave? Figure out, you know, if Ed doesn't have a king, he's going to lay it down. He just calls.
2 players.
Pot is now about $1,200, and the river's a 5, and ace king is good.
And this will probably go check, bet, fold.
900.
Yep. And Ed bets 900 now.
I mean, Amir's a relatively solid player. He tends to pay off too much. I mean, Diablo clearly missed a value bet last hand. And,
Oh, what a gracious man.
wow.
He gave
I
a
wanna see
lovely
that. You think he'd tip me if I sat behind him?
Shelley ground chip there. Maybe we can get a shot at Shelley there. Oh, we can look at Ed's tie.
7 deuce, offsuit.
There we go.
He said he really wanted to know, so I told him.
No, I got it.
Then I got to date you or something.
And Diablo's got king, queen offsuit. He's going to raise it out of the big blind.
Family condition. Man, I live
60 more.
in the Bay Area. 60 more.
60 more, Doc.
Let's start with one plus.
He made it 60 more.
Get a shot of that.
And we got a 5-way action, Dave, so it's I believe it's a $350 pot. King, jack, 6.
That's going to be in the
Diablo's
opening
got top
credits
pair
right So good you can eat it.
130.
BB's got second pair with a flush draw. I mean, back door
Diablo
flush
bets
draw.
130 into a $350 pot. Is Mike gonna? Mike's gonna raise. He doesn't believe it. Mike's got nothing, but he's gonna raise.
You play my cards now?
Diablo says, you playing my cards now? How much more is the raise here? Let's see.
And Mike's on a stone cold bluff here. He's got absolutely no pair,
I think it was
no
about
draw,
320
no
more, and he makes the call. Pot's about $1,000 now. Turn is an 8,
Mike is drawing dead.
and he bets about $1,000.
7 miles.
That's going to be my running joke. I'm going to ask you if I can buy your coffee.
And Diablo's going to
And
call.
Diablo makes the call, so that's about a $3,000 pot here.
Wow. And at this point, do you even bother betting the river?
And the river's a queen, and Diablo makes 2 pair.
You got 9-10.
I mean, do you even bother betting the river?
I don't think he has enough chips. It's a $3,000 pot.
That's what
Dave.
I'm saying. I mean, do you even bother putting your last 500 in?
Well, Diablo's going to bet, it looks like. Boy, let's see if we can get a shot of Mike. He just,
What'd you hit? 2 pair on the river? I mean, Queen Jack the whole way, hit 2 pair on the river.
well. See, Mike says, you know, you called me with Queen Jack, hit 2 pair, but there's no way Mike's going to muck a king that quickly.
No
on the
chance,
river.
right.
Yeah.
On the river? See?
Say what?
You lie.
Look
See
at that
what?
smile.
You should have folded to my 7 high.
Right, right.
Yeah, that will never lie. I just enjoy when you suffer. I want to see you suffer, Mike, that's all.
I mean, the funniest thing is, I wonder if Mike could play against himself. Would Mike fold to a Mike raise?
I think that weak bet. I think that Mike thought, you know, since weakness in Diablo, he bet 130 into a $350 pot. He actually had top.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault Mike for trying. He just kind of, you know,
Okay, Roca.
just got caught with his hand in the cookie jar there.
Almond, hey, next week I want you to call me Almond Roca.
La Roca.
Yeah, baby. Almond Roca.
Almond Roca you like?
Are we calling somebody Almond Roca?
I don't know if I like that nickname.
I don't really want to call anybody Almond Roca. I don't like it.
I told you that might have been your hand, but you get it stubborn.
She wants you to stay so she can watch.
I tell you, it's days like this I love the 2+2 crowd. They really keep me entertained.
Yeah.
Thank you, Russ.
Russ McGinley with a little, what would you call that?
Humor.
Cry me a little violin.
Yeah.
You can go to 2plus2.com, click on forums, World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments, the official Live at the Bike thread for October 21st. Amir raised here with King Queen suited, I believe. And we got
Ed's,
a couple callers.
yeah, Ed's got King 7 of spades. Look at this, King 7, King 7, King Queen. Not surprisingly, a king did not come out.
I checked too.
Okay.
But Ed's in good shape here.
And Amir did not bet. The turn is an 8.
Well, Ed's now got the gut shot.
I mean, isn't that an automatic bet when you raise pre-flop and it gets checked around again, and now a 7 comes on the river? And the King 7s are going to chop it up if this one sees a showdown.
I can't take my hand.
And it does. I mean, you've got King Queen, you've got 2 people that can call with pretty much any 2 cards. Don't
In
you
position,
bet that?
you have to.
Christ, I chopped the pot.
Otherwise, don't raise it.
That's like winning to me, Ed.
Don't bother raising with King Queen.
I feel like I won.
What, are you only raising to hit your hand?
I'm surprised Ed didn't bet the turn.
Boyhood, I told you, you can't win everything.
Flush draw?
Yeah, I mean, that's just a gift to Mike.
You can't
Yeah.
Mike hated his hand there, you know. He's got King 7 of hearts.
win every hand. You can't.
Thank you, Ed.
And CW Siggy on 2+2 wants to know where we get these girls. Wants to know if we put an ad for pretty girls needed to sit and well look pretty. Well, we are in Los Angeles. There's an overabundance of them. They're just walking around.
We're gonna take a look at another chip count here.
Wow, Dr. Beebe up to 8,400. He is really.
BB's up to 8,400. I think, Dave, he's up probably. I think he's up maybe 3,000, but down a little bit since the last chip count. And Amir, 3,300. He had started out at about 1,200, was it? So he's up about 2,000.
Right. I mean, Amir took a big hit when he flopped that straight, and Abel made the flush with deuce 7 of clubs.
Now, Mike had ace king this hand, and I don't think he raised pre-flop. I think it was limped around.
100.
And BB has ace queen. The flop is queen 9 jack 2 hearts, and BB has checked it to Diablo, who has bet with a flush draw in seat 9.
No, you seen my best hand all night.
Ed calls with an open-ended straight draw.
I'd like to see BB is
Is he going to check
trapping him.
raise? And look at this, Mike calls with ace king. Let's see what BB does.
And
Yep,
he is
he's
gonna-
going to make the check raise.
I thought he might muck.
800.
He makes it 800.
And that's one of your check raises. You like that because you figure on a scary board like that, you know,
Yeah.
queen 9 jack 2 hearts. You can't quite bet enough to get the draws out there.
Yep.
Done. See nine.
Again, the flop is queen jack 9, a couple of hearts. $800 check raise there by BB. And there you go, he takes it down.
And BB owns this table.
Well, Mike didn't raise with ace king.
I like it when you add.
Pre-flop, I don't believe. And of course, BB didn't raise with ace queen.
Well, that's standard.
I mean, have we seen BB raise once pre-flop tonight? Not with queens. Not with ace king.
No, yeah, I don't think we've seen
And I
it
don't think
tonight.
he's had kings or aces tonight, so. We got a new player coming into seat 5, Dave. Peter.
I got brown here too.
Buying in for 2,000. And Corporation Mike rebought for 2,000 more.
Can't buy 20.
Doc, it's on you.
So there we go. Peter in seat 5.
Bet it down, man.
He's the big blind, sir.
He looks like a poker player. Got that poker player look to him, doesn't he?
What does a poker player look, anyways?
I don't know.
Scruffy?
Ed, it's on you.
I think unshaved is a pretty common thing.
Unshaved, unkempt.
I thought you guys were changing.
Four-way action
I thought
here.
you bet
$80 pot.
Flop a 7-6 deuce, couple of diamonds.
4-5 is open-ended. We got 7-5 for the Greek poker guard. He's got top pair. And BB leads in with the open-ended straight draw. Now George checked the top pair from early position, and he's going to check raise with 7-5 here. Let's see how much the check raise is.
120 more.
He makes it 120 more for 170 straight. See if BB chases here. And he does. He calls. Now, what if BB actually raises the turn here? Turn is an 8. Well, he gets the straight.
Now, George is actually open-ended.
And George has bet 200 here.
BB had checked to him, right?
Yeah. No, George is actually in first position.
Okay.
It's a $200 bet here. The pot now is about $650. And it's 200 for BB to call. Let's see what he does.
Looks like he's going to raise it up. And I like the raise here because George might call because he's open-ended still.
We're solid, huh? Yeah, we're for another round.
And there you go.
Oh, that's a big raise.
I think he made it 1,000, Dave.
More.
He made it 1,000. 800 for George to call.
Actually, maybe he's going
Well, the
now.
200 was kind of a small bet. He bet about half the pot.
He
And
was
BB
hired
wasn't
by,
gonna
by
wasn't
the
gonna go
bike.
for that.
He's playing like
So it's $1,600 pot, 800 for George to call.
And all George has is a pair of sevens here.
But again, like I said, if BB mixed his game up, he could do this against a tight player with any 2 cards.
I mean, to me,
Yeah.
he did that though. I mean, with the Queen 10 play, it was a great play.
Yeah.
I mean, he had top pair with a 10 kicker.
That one's a great card too.
George shows the 7 mucks.
I mean, if you were playing against BB there, and obviously and weren't privy to what he actually had and sitting behind here, what would you put him on? You know, you'd probably put him on minimum a set, probably, or at least 2 pair.
I don't get mad with doctors.
Line space.
Okay? Doctors are needed on this world, okay, Mike? Take Mike.
Once again, we are live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20. And we are playing poker at the Bicycle Casino in Bell Gardens,
Doc, big one.
about 10 miles south from Los Angeles.
Here's that.
Doctor, it's good for humans.
Like I said, it's getting chilly out there, Dave. It's about 67.
Not for Diablos, but for humans. Diablo, I gotta have
That's chilly for me now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Getting a little cold, huh?
travel.
I tell you, I love the Southern California weather because I'm used to the East Coast. Actually, because of the summers, it does not get as hot as it does, say, up in the Boston area or upstate New York. And the humidity is nil, close to nothing. So.
Yeah, if we just get rid of the smog, and about 8 million people will be
Right.
Yeah, Jack, 26 times.
I tell you, it is a little chilly in here. Almost a little nipply.
Small blind. Big blind.
Where were you, Ron? Alan? Where were you when I needed you?
Oh, really?
Button is in seat 6. That's Mike.
I want a pot. I didn't need you.
You want a pause?
You went for another run?
I'm here now. Diablo, I'll be here as long as you need me.
Queen Jack here.
Ed is under the gun, first to act. Speaking of Under the Gun, if you want to check out my blog, Under the Gun with David Tuckman, you can go to liveatthebike.com, click on Under the Gun, and my latest 2 blogs are actually in there, and I promise they will be updated at least once a week now.
7 players.
So we got another multi-way pot here limped around. Oh, Queen 4-10.
Yeah, Ed's got top pair.
A couple people have top pair.
Wow, yeah, Jesus. Not Jesus. Sorry, Peter.
Yeah. Peter in seat 5, and Diablo's going to bet with the better kicker.
100.
And Alan calls with a, what's that, gut shot?
Oh, I think I called out Diablo there, Ed.
Seat 5 here has Queen 3. We don't have it up here. And I think he makes the call.
You know what really hurts is the inside.
And BB's going to call with second pair.
It's not really, it's not the must.
$100 bet.
4 players.
So now the pot has ballooned to about 620. The turn's a deuce.
Now, Alan's in there. He's in there with King 9, but if he catches a Jack,
Right.
it gives anybody with Ace King a higher straight.
Diablo bet's about half the size of the pot here, 300. And I believe Peter posted behind. So it's just one of these cases where you're in there with Queen 3 and your kicker's no good and he makes the call again.
Yeah.
2 players.
And Dave, the pot's about $1,200 now. And the river's an 8.
Let's see if Diablo continues. Let's see if we can get a nice value bet in there.
Do you put the guy on the weak queen right here?
Well, if you figure if he has Queen 10, you're going to hear from him. If he has King, Queen, or Ace Queen,
Now,
you might have heard from him.
what about if he was on a Jack 9 draw?
500.
We bet's 500.
Find out real quick.
Now, Peter had, I think, 2,000 behind. And he's shaking his head.
The only odd thing here about Peter, though, is he called the whole way with a 3 kicker. Was he hoping to spike a 3? Or just hoping that Diablo would stop betting?
I want to say the pot's about 1,700 now, 500 to call.
Sure.
And he makes the call, Dave. He makes the call, and Diablo takes it down with Queen Jack.
Nice value bet on the river there.
So you're never scared of Jack 9 at that spot?
No, I think you have to be scared of Jack 9. You've got to start thinking, I think right away in the flop, you start to have to thinking, what could my opponent have?
Right.
You know?
Big blind Diablo.
Could he have King Jack? Could he have Jack 9? Could he have Queen 3, Queen 7, whatever?
Oh, you know. Mike, you and I are going to go by Poland in this kind of
Dave, we have about maybe a half an hour left in the show.
Yeah, it brings, I think, more
And that would mean a half hour left in our week, huh?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Alan, where were you when I needed you?
I'm here.
Needed you on that hand.
Awful lot of money to lose there with top pair and only a 3 kicker, huh?
I gotta tell you, the one thing I miss about out here compared to, say, in upstate New York, well, I don't really miss much in upstate New York, but,
Speedy sauce.
yeah. Foliage.
What is it?
Foliage.
Foliage?
Yeah.
I heard your feelings.
Like leaves.
Right.
Okay.
It's October.
Oh, you miss like the changing
Yeah.
weather, changing leaves.
Yeah.
Just drive up the coast a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
Isaac, do they have foliage in Northern California? I guess that's a yes. We got a raise here by, I believe it was seat 3.
And that's the one thing that's great about being in Los Angeles is you are literally 3 hours away from any climate you want to be.
120 times 5, $600 in the pot right now. Alan brought it in with pocket 5s, 963, couple clubs. And is pocket 5 still good right now? Looks like it.
Yes. It is still good.
But Ed, I believe, has come out and bet 200 with nothing into a $600 pot, and Alan mucks it. And that 200 might actually win the pot. I mean, Hav doesn't have anything. The action's over to him. There you go.
Well, hey, now see, that's a really smart bet. If you look at it this way, he only bet 200 to win 600, right? So you do the math real quick. You don't have to be correct on that play every time to make it profitable.
Right.
I mean, if you're right only 1 out of 4 times, you're going to break even. If you're actually right 50% of the time, then it's a profitable play.
No. I appreciate you wanting to put it up.
Yeah, muy físico. Diablo.
She's even laughing. Another good call.
Limp.
Six players.
6-way action. King 4 deuce, couple hearts. Looks like Hav's got a flush draw.
Yeah, Phoebe's got the king. And so does, actually, Diablo's got a bigger king.
And Diablo's going to bet. He bets right into it, 200.
No, I want the Roca.
200 to $120 pot.
I want Alan. I don't want you, no, I got to put
Hav calls.
Alright. I'm out. Diablo.
Let's see what BB does.
Remember, I'm a nice production.
Looks like he calls as well. So pot is now about 720 here, 3 ways. Flush draw. King Jack and King 9. And there's a Jack there for Diablo, so he's made kings up. I was going to say, this is not a time I wouldn't think to check it with a couple people just calling you, right?
No,
Too
yeah.
many draws out there.
And you can't count.
Yeah.
Nobody's showing any strength in the hand.
And he's going to lead for 500 now. So it's a $1,200 pot, 500 for Hav to call.
Now, once again, Hav is getting a little more than 2 to 1. And he called last time he had a flush draw.
Well, I think this situation's a little different.
Well, definitely. Last time he had overcards as well.
Floor man.
Now, the question for BB is, could Diablo be doing this with King 3, King 5, King 6?
2 hearts.
And BB makes the call, and he's drawing really slim. It's about an $1,800 pot here, and the river is a 4.
Now, you were saying really slim. I was saying he's drawing dead.
That's a good point.
Real slim, like dead slim.
Yeah, dead
okay.
slim.
I was looking at him going, what could he make? I'm wondering.
No, that Jack, no.
Yeah, take one.
One more time. One more time, okay? El Diablo is an action. I know. Alan, where were you when I needed you?
Wow, that was a good one.
Call.
Oh, I don't want people to see my cards.
One game at a time, Alan.
And Diablo has the button here. He's got Ace Jack. Let's see if he raises. And he does raise.
Raise it. 100.
Makes it 100.
Diablo's made a nice comeback here. Down 2,000 early. He's probably made that back. He might even be up a little bit now.
80 more, Ed.
Thank you, my friend.
George is showing 1 card. We see a king.
Ask your partner.
Diablo, man, I don't want anybody in the pot until I can win a pot.
Oh, I got you. Al was being clever.
Exactly.
So Diablo made it 100, and he got called in 3 spots, so it's a $400 pot. And he hits top pair.
Wow, but Ed
Oh,
has 2
look
pair.
at this. Ed's got top and bottom. And these two can really butt heads here.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Diablo has trouble getting away from a hand, and Ed...
300.
$300 bet here by Ed.
Hey, come on.
Oh, excuse me, by Diablo.
Now, when Ed check raises, he usually has it.
He makes it 1,200. Diablo bets 300. Ed makes it 1,200.
What are you doing there?
Who's my friend?
I want Alan. Where you get on my way?
Look at this. He's picking up his cards there, Dave.
Okay, you want me to go smoke for half an hour so you
Yeah.
can get out?
Yes.
900 to call.
900 to call. Pot is 1,900, 900 for Diablo to call. I'd love to see Diablo make a laydown like that, right now, Dave, and see kind of a transformation of his game. Because, like you said, when Ed check raises, he usually has it.
Yeah.
And he makes the call.
And he's in a lot of trouble here.
$2,800 pot. The turn is a 7. And Ed's going to bet here again.
Looks like 1,000.
Pot balloons to 3,800.
Well, the 7 doesn't change anything. And Diablo needs has a lot of outs here. Any 5, any 7, or any jack.
And he makes the call. And we are at $4,800.
I want to say he has 9 outs.
And let's see the river. The river's a deuce, and Ed fills up.
Yeah, that's not an out.
And I think Ed has moved all in. It was a $4,800 pot. Let's see how much it is.
At this point, don't you have to put Ed maybe, if you go, okay, Ed doesn't have an ace, and he doesn't have a deuce, wouldn't you have to put him in a set of 5s at least?
Dave, it looks like somewhere around 2,500, I'm going to say.
2,500 more into about a $4,800 pot?
Yeah. I'm going to say that the pot is about somewhere between 7,000 and 7,500. Yeah, 2,500 to call.
And Diablo really had bad luck with the pocket aces when he lost to Jesus. I don't know how many players would have got away from that one.
Exactly 2,380. So that makes the pot about 7,200.
But this hand,
2,380 to call.
Diablo's dug his own grave in this one.
2,800, $7,200 pot, 2,800 to call. So if he makes this call, it will be about a $10,000 pot.
I mean, what would Ed be making this play with that Diablo can actually beat? Diamonds? What, Ed's on a pure diamond draw and he's bluffing the whole way? Or Ed had ace-10. I mean, what can... Because that's the worst card to pair, actually, because even if Ed had ace-5, his ace-5 is still good.
Right, it's the bottom pair.
Right.
It's
now, if a 5 had paired, you could have said, oh, maybe the guy had ace-deuce.
And Diablo has the 2,800 right there in his hand. That's how much he needs to call. And he makes the call, and we're going to see Ed win a $10,000 pot.
Good for
with
Ed.
Deuces full of aces.
Good for Ed.
And this is the type of action that we're used to seeing with these types of players at the table. It just happens to be that tonight we haven't seen those card combinations come out where someone's had big hand against big hand.
Right.
Now, a player, I mean, ace-jack, you got to let that go. But some of these guys just won't let it go.
Well, there's just nothing you can feed. I don't quite understand exactly. You got to start thinking about it going, okay, he check raised me on the flop. What might he have? I mean, the only thing I can think of that he might have that I can beat is diamonds.
So Ed just doubled through. He was at, I want to say, at the beginning of that hand, he had up to, maybe about $4,000. So Diablo just lost $4,000.
Yeah, we got Ed at 3,600, so he's got to be at least at, you're talking about 7,500 now, 72 to 75, with the other people's dead money in there.
I said it was a $10,000 pot there. I mean, I counted it out. I think he has about 10,000.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he's got about 10,000.
We must have missed a green chip in there then.
And
well, he and Dr. Beebe are definitely the big winners of the night so far.
And Diablo's down.
Diablo's getting his, he's getting his rump chewed here.
Right. Man.
And you can't blame him for calling it, calling Jesus down when he had pocket aces, when there's 3 4s on the board. But in that case, get away.
Yeah, but the biggest story about that hand was that Jesus had gotten a bad beat the hand before, because all of Diablo's money would have been gone on that hand.
Yeah, definitely. But I wouldn't have blamed him in that one.
Now Ed has got ace-jack, and he is raised. And I think Diablo's going to be on tilt a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I guess in the plumbing world, this is the equivalent of broken pipe or something.
A mega clog.
Mega clog.
Yeah, a backed up septic tank that you got to get into.
Oh. Yeah. It's a bad day. Bad.
About a $480 pot, 120 times 4. King 4 deuce here, a couple diamonds. And Ed
And
bets.
Hav has a set of 4s.
Yes, he does, and he has checked it to Ed.
And the thing is interesting is Diablo with a pair of deuces might get himself in trouble.
Ed has bet 200 here.
I know that. I say that it sounds ridiculous, but
Well, he actually gets away from it. He folded.
he did. Okay.
And Hav just smooth calls. He's going to play it a little slow. Oh, the turn's an ace, and now Ed might be in big trouble. Oh, wow, what a turn card. And Hav checks again.
Let's see if he puts the old check raise in there.
Before the street, the pot was about 900. He bets 200, so it's an $1,100 pot now. 200 for Hav to call. And let's see what Hav does. And actually, Hav has position on him, excuse me. And he makes it 500 more. So the pot now is 1,800, 500 for Ed to call.
Well, Ed just won a big pot with ace deuce over ace jack.
Right.
I think he can learn from that lesson.
Well, now Ed's drawing dead.
I mean, can you learn from that? Can you go, wait a second, ace jack is not that good a hand?
I guess the answer is no. He makes the call. $2,300 pot, and the turn is the river's a queen.
Why you think he doesn't like me? Come on, I got the best, you know.
And Ed checks, I believe. And Hav is going to bet. Let's see how much it is. He bets $1,200. Not a bad bet into a $2,300 pot.
No, it's nice. About a half the size of the bet. It's half the size of the pot.
Well, Ed's going to muck it now. Well, if he didn't think his hand was good on the turn, it's interesting.
I mean, I guess the only thing you can look at is, you know, he called one time to see if Hav would actually fire again, if Hav could actually muster up the courage to fire one more time. And when Hav did, he kind of convinced him, okay, this guy definitely has it. I mean, give Ed a little credit. At least he got away from it eventually.
So the button here moves over to Ed.
Hey, Scrooge, check.
Because I play real hands, you mad at me?
Oh, now you forgot your chips when it's your turn.
Dr. Beebe might be the big winner. I mean, we're not quite sure. Ed losing that hand there took him down a little bit. Dr. Beebe has been consistently winning all night, though.
Yeah, he has.
He's actually got about $10,000 right now.
I think he is the big winner. We'll figure that out. But I think he is the big winner. Pot is limped around.
Maybe we'll set up a post-webcast interview with him.
Jack 8-6 here. Couple people have top pair.
Wayne, I'm not betting, man. I'll tell you what.
Queen Jack in seat 3 and Jack 10 for BB.
I wouldn't bet with your money.
Now, Alan, of course, checks his Queen Jack.
It got checked around? The turn's a 10.
Wow, and that is actually going to give
BB two pair.
150.
And now Alan bets 150.
Bet that 9, Alan.
And BB checked Jack 10 over there in late position, too, on the flop.
You think he's going to raise this, though, now?
I think so.
He's been a lot more aggressive today in terms of raising, at least.
He makes it 400. Well, Alan's got a gut shot. He can catch a 9.
Yeah, he's a 9 or a queen here.
He bets 150. And I think Alan called.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, we haven't. Did George fold out a turn here?
7-9.
Yeah, and George did fold out a turn.
Okay. That's what's kind of
an odd flow.
Confused.
George just made it really easy for Alan to go, you know, I'll show you that I'm going to actually fold my hand, so don't worry about me.
And he lays it down wisely.
Well, that's Alan playing the player. Give Alan credit there.
Yep.
A lot of hands that BB could have backed into there. Queen 9. 9-7.
Alan does look like a wise man.
Like an old sage. Okay.
There he is.
Well, there you go.
Remember, a man's word is his bond.
All right.
Don't make promises you can't hold.
Yes, sir.
Jesus Christ, I've been telling him that since he was 6. Still going.
Never listen to you, huh?
I know. You should start listening to your uncle.
We got a straddled pot here.
Yeah, what you did?
Who raised? Mr. Straddle?
Estrada.
Mr. Razor?
I said I'm going to raise 200 no matter what.
No matter what you have.
And Mike has raised out of the straddle spot with pocket sixes.
I said that pre-flop. Swear to God.
2 players.
So we're heads up here. Allen against Mike. And Mike hits a set of sixes.
Check.
And look at this. He slow plays it. He slow plays it.
Mike?
Yeah. I mean, why not bet your good and your bad hands? Turns a 4. Now he fills up. And he checks again.
Well, at this point, you might as well check because clear Allen has nothing.
And he checks again. He never got a bet out of Allen.
Well played there, Mike. Good job.
You did say that too.
Good job. Mike's got a new book coming out. How to flop a set, turn a full house, and make no money at all.
The only thing, though, Dave, and the reason why I have such a problem with him not betting, is that if he raises out of the straddle spot and the flop comes ace-6-4, and I'm on the button, once he checks it to me on the flop, I don't think I'll ever put any money up against him because I think he has a monster. How does he not bet the flop with an ace in, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, today Mike's game is somewhat dangerous. Usually, usually you're a little scared of it because he's always kind of playing it a little weird, a little strange. And I mean, he's scary to play against sometimes. But today he's kind of playing it ass backwards.
Ass backwards?
Ass backwards.
Could have made a small move on the flop.
I mean, I just don't understand some of the plays he's making. You know?
That's tough, man.
I mean, he's bluffing unbluffable players.
Well, what can I say?
We saw them do it at Diablo.
It got limped around here, I think 7 or 8 ways.
I mean, he's getting outplayed by Dr. Beebe. He's trying to set a trap for Allen, and Allen's too passive. Allen's never going to bet.
Diablo bets 100 here. He's got 6-7 open-ended. Flop is Jack 8-5.
You got La Roca on your hands. You know what? La Roca on your hands.
George here has got pocket 8s. So he has a set, and he smooth calls. So George has flopped a set. He smooth calls Diablo. And Amir is going to come in with King 8 with second pair overcard. Well, if a king comes out here, we might see a lot of action. Well, the turn is a 6. 3 players in there. Diablo.
Diablo's now got a pair with his open-ended straight draw.
Yep. And George slow played the set on the flop.
Well, he does have the button. He's in position now. Gives you a little more flexibility on how to play a hand.
Diablo bets again here. Hob is not in the hand.
6-4.
He bets 100.
Yeah, it was a jack on board.
Good times.
And this is one of those times where he's only going to get action if basically a 4 or a 9 come out there, and you get that. It's the action you don't want.
300.
Well, he's made a little mini raise there. He makes it 300. And again, Diablo, he is open-ended here. Now, Diablo might get into some trouble here if a 6 comes out in the river. Well, the river's a 3. And he checks. I want to say, Dave, the pot is about $1,000 now. And George isn't going to check this set on the river, is he?
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a please call me bet.
He bet 600. So the pot is $1,600.
9-10?
And Diablo mucks. George takes it down.
Take it down, George.
Well, Dave, I believe that this is going to be the last hand of the night.
The last hand, wow. The last hand of the week, huh?
So we actually determined that Hob was the big winner tonight?
No, I think actually Dr. Beebe is the big winner.
Okay.
It was close. I think Hob was up about $2,000 on the night, and Dr. Beebe's up about $2,800 on the night. Button is in seat 5 for the last hand. Mike's in the small blind.
right, Diablo.
Diablo's going to raise this in early position with pocket sevens.
You want me?
Good man, Alan.
And Mike makes a call with 6-7.
3 players.
How long are you staying on it, George?
And the flop comes out 9-4-6.
Now, this is the kind of hand that Mike might get himself in trouble here.
200.
Diablo bets 200. Yeah, let's see if Mike makes a check raise. Alan's got Jack 10.
Well, this is the one that Mike chastised Alan before for making him calling with second pair and a bad kicker.
And there you go. I think he's going to check. Well, let's see. Oh, he just called. He checks here on the turn. And it goes check, check. And the river's an 8. And they're just going to check it down.
And that's
Diablo says 7, and Mike, he's like, what? 7?
And that's the exact hand. That's the exact play that Mike just ripped Alan for.
Right.
I mean, he calls second pair a bad kicker.
Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Dave, as always, it's been a pleasure, even with your Jets jersey.
I don't think you're scared of him anymore, are you?
Well, that wraps up another week of Live at the Bike. Please join us every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 Pacific time for live action cash games. So for everyone here in the booth and for David Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.